day and welcome to Lifestyle Show. My name is Satama Fukate and today I'm chilling with a friend, a mentor, somebody I know as an activist, sometimes a rival of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Eugene Mthethwa. Why are you laughing? I had to throw in the rival of mine because I'm always in trouble with you.
You're balancing the equation.
Yeah, no, the equation must be balanced. Because
Yes.
sometimes you call me to order in public.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So
Yeah, it's good to show that we are genuine, we are legit, we are genuine about issues. When I say you are wrong, you know that you are wrong. When I say you did very well.
you know what's the funniest thing, Eugene?
Yeah.
I always have to remind you this every time.
Yeah.
That before I could make it in this industry, I used to follow you and I would beg you to just do me a song. And because I admired you from watching you play the keyboard.
Mike Fuller music.
Yes. I would walk with you from Mike Fuller to downtown.
Downtown
From
Studios.
downtown to Mike Fuller, just following you because I just wanted to be famous. And a lot of people think, who's Eugene? And I want you to take us back before you even played with Lucky Dube. Who's Eugene Mthethwa?
Yeah, hey. It requires about
Days.
days, months to talk about that. Because I come from Eugene Mthethwa is a firstborn of Pastor or Reverend M.J. Mthethwa. My dad is a pastor. One of the four founders, one of the founders of International Assemblies of God.
How?
Yes, he's one of the four. And the only one surviving, who's still surviving. And then my mother was also a pastor on her own. They met at Bible school with my dad. So I come from both pastors. And that gave me a background that says you moved from one place to another. You know, the pastors, they get moved now and then. At some other point, we will be moved after 3 months, we've been placed there. So that taught me one, humility that you would often see. I'm sure you will talk to that.
Yes.
When you talk about me meeting you, not knowing you, and then I take you upstairs to Mike Fuller
Yes,
to come
and make me feel like a superstar.
Yeah, so, yeah, and I stayed in a rural place. I know I've got the rural background. Emakatini used to school
I
there.
know you, KZN, right?
KZN,
Yes, you told
yeah.
me about KZN, but I didn't know where it is. Where is it?
It's in what would it be?
North,
Kwanyuswa.
south?
I don't know about the south and north of KZN, but I don't. It's not far from Inchanga.
Yo,
Zanga,
all strange names. Where is that?
Yeah,
I know South Africa.
it's in KZN.
Give me the nearest town, maybe.
Devon. It's in
Oh,
Devon.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
closer to Devon.
Oh.
And but it is the rural areas of that where I used to, during the apartheid era, where we used to be dropped by a white woman a kilometer or 2 kilometers away from, because we were not supposed to be seen with white people.
Oh, yes.
And then after school, we'd walk that kilometer to meet this white lady. And then she will cover us with blankets because now we are going to a suburb, a white area at Kloof. Kloof, it was a white suburb, and we're staying at this white person's house because my dad was a pastor of an all-white church in the apartheid era, Devon North.
Oh.
Now, that's where I got to learn the piano because we're forever.
Oh, yeah, they forced, not forced, but it's just one of those things that you have to know, music.
Remember that we were not supposed to be seen outside the house of a white person or in the area of white people. Now we are staying in a white house, in a white person's house, okay? And we would watch their children playing outside, but we couldn't go outside. So the only thing I laid my hands on was the piano. That's how I got to learn
But did
piano.
somebody play the piano in the house?
Oh, the child, one daughter was trying, gave me the first song. I still even remember the song very well. That song to practice. That's how I started.
What's
In
the
fact,
name of the song?
self-taught. I don't know the name of the song,
Oh, but you remember the
I remember
melodies.
the melody. Yeah. Da 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 da. And yeah, that's how I started. I taught myself. And then at some point, because we moved to Kwamashu. No, before Kwamashu, we moved to Kononia, which was a campsite for Christian. It was a Christian campsite where we stayed in a caravan.
Yo.
The 4 or 5 of us staying in a caravan.
And it felt big then.
Yo, big way. It was a one-room pillar, that thing. You know, it's only beds that you have. But at least at the campsite there was a shower outside. So we were using the showers at the campsite. And this is where I got to deal with the fear of snakes, because we're seeing snakes every day there.
I'm still scared of snakes.
I was standing on top of one, the rattlesnake, stood on top of it, and instinctively, I don't know what, I was young to even think that I shouldn't move just one foot. I must jump to move away, because had I moved one foot, I was gone.
Why? What
That
does
thing
it
is
do?
very dangerous. Remember that I was standing on top of its head and the tail.
Oh,
and the tail.
yes, it could have. Oh, yeah.
So if I moved the one on top that is on top of the head, it was going to beat me on my left one. So I jumped instinctively. And this was not the first time. In Spokane, I also stayed in Spokane, by the way, Zone 7. I stayed in Sharpeville, Vugasenzele.
You stayed in Soweto?
I stayed in Vosloorus.
Didn't you also tell me that you stayed in Mpumalanga as well?
Yes, in Mpumalanga, it's my dad and my mother's
and the late
house
brother, ne?
that I bought for them during the Soweto uprising. I mean, not uprising, the Soweto.
Oh, it was the brother.
Yeah, my brother Isaac and Aquila, they were staying there because I thought they can't go to school in Soweto when there were so much.
And then how do you end up with those big bands that you were playing with? I know you were with Casino and you would play for Abu Hoy Chaklas.
Yeah.
All those people, Messi
Zone
Pakela.
3, Alicat. Yeah.
But how did you get to that point?
And now it's a very interesting story. Now,
Because that's when I started following you.
as a pastor's kid, I'm in Kwamashu now, and I get into politics, school politics.
Also, you did politics from that?
That 82.
Yeah, because a lot of
1982.
people don't know that, in fact, you might be one of the most recognized people in this country that got into politics meanwhile they were still famous in music. Because a lot of people were hiding.
Well, fame came after. I was involved in politics before fame. In Kwamashu, at my high school in Ntlaganipo, I was very much involved. And I was part of the SRC at that time. Now, a person like Andrew Zondo, they'll think that I'm claiming, was my friend. Andrew Zondo was my friend because we were pastors' kids, both of
So
them.
you had to...
Yes. But when he left, go in exile, I didn't know that he was in exile. I only realized when he came and then he got hanged that, Andrew was in exile. But we were very he was at Ntlaganipo, if you can check his history. He was at Ntlaganipo and he was one class ahead of me. But we jailed because of our
And
background.
how old are you when you get into politics?
I'm
Because I only
probably
started when I was in high school.
16, somewhere there, 16. And I was involved and I got arrested. And that led into me now being, My dad wanted to disown me. My dad was very strict. So I then got disrupted. I was doing hematology at University of. Whilst I was doing my matric, I was also studying hematology, the study of blood.
Hymns.
Of blood.
Okay. Hematology is not about hymns.
No, it's blood. This is a course that is done at the medical school.
Oh, me, I
Because
thought it was about choirs.
No, I wanted to be a doctor when I finished my matric, but I was disrupted by politics. Cut the long story short, I then, because of the restrictions that I had to report to the police station that I'm still around Kwamashu. When there are these holidays like June 16, I had to report, So it became very strenuous.
What if you were saved by your dad? He had to also say, this is my child and I'm a pastor.
How? Save me how?
Because you could have done worse things.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
No, there are certain things that I cannot talk about. There are things that I cannot talk about because these things they can come back and bite you.
True that. True that. No, let's ignore them.
Pastor's kids. Hey, I stole them my pastor's kid was. Yeah.
But ever since I've known you, you have never uttered a swear word.
Well, yes, that
or
background.
You do, Emakonian, but not.
No, that background gave me a solid ground in terms of ethics. In terms, me, I don't want some things that are not right. If you are doing something wrong, I'll tell you straight away, and I will not mince my words. Because
in fact, I'm still coming there. Hence I want people to know who Eugene is because I'm still coming there because you've called most of us to order. So I'm not even rushing to get there. I'm trying to understand. I asked a question about how you got to be part of those bands.
The bands.
And then you ended up with Lucky Dube.
I'm coming to that to show you that it was a blessing in disguise. Here's me, I want to be a medical doctor. I have somebody in church who is a lecturer at University of Natal University. A white lady, when my dad was pastoring an all-white church. So this lady invited me to come because she knew that I wanted to be a doctor. So whilst I'm still doing my matric, come and experience what it's like to study for medicine. And she was teaching hematology, so that's how I got to study that whilst I was still doing my matric. Now, with politics taking over, I became very rebellious. To my dad, he saw it as rebellion because I was saying, you know what, people don't understand the pain that I went through when we had to be covered because we're black children.
Oh, yes.
Covered with a blanket on a VW Beetle, taken to school by this white lady. And we couldn't be seen with this white lady at school. I had to walk a kilometer every day. Kilometer to school, kilometer back to meet this lady. And then when we get to Kloof, we can't be seen with white people. Those informed my political stance. I then started saying, it is not right. There's many things I saw. Even at school now, I'm starting to say, no, it can't be that we are taught maths in Africans, we're taught all the subjects that we learn except our mother language.
But there should be somebody that was also making you aware of those things. Like, for example, with me, I would always give credit to my late brother, for always making me politically conscious.
Well, I had access to material like Reverend Farrakhan. I was a staunch follower of Reverend Farrakhan, which I still am. Malcolm X, and those are some of the materials that I was found with when I was arrested. That's what led me to...
From then?
Yeah. We used to run away from our homes to the sugarcane and sleep in the sugarcanes because the South African Defence Force would come and raid our homes first.
Yes.
And the following day, kuzwa Amabutho. I still don't know who owned Amabutho. I still wonder who is going to take ownership of Amabutho, because Amabutho killed so many of my friends. We used to be, yeah, no, let me not go there. But that's how I then had to, my dad, when my dad was, because now I couldn't study. When my dad was moved from Kwamashu, when we moved from Kwamashu, coming back to now Soweto, Meadowlands, okay, I then got that break from the reporting at the police station now and then. And then first year when we were here, it was, I think, 86. Then the guys that I was with.
Yeah, 86 was just another year as
Yeah.
well. Because it was more like a repeat of 76 in a way, because of the 10th anniversary. And
Yes.
in our minds,
Yes.
we just thought about 86 being something else.
But 86 was rough, because, especially for students, because this is when really most of the people.
There was
some
no
people-
school.
Yeah, we were just attacked by Amabuto for not being at school. I remember explaining myself to Amabuto that they met me from Kwamashu Station walking towards sea, and they said, yeah, Bulalutsotsi. That was the language that they had. Bulalutsotsi. Why are you at school? Why are you not at school? So if you are not at school, you are a comrade, you are utsotsi. So I had to
I
say,
wish to meet people that went to school during 86, just to hear what they went through. That's actually very interesting, because
Hey,
I
those
was never in
days.
class in 86.
Is it?
No, like I can't remember doing anything, not even one day.
I know, we were on the streets, 86. And then that was also followed by the black on black confrontation that was happening, gangsterism. You remember, Makwaitos,
Yes.
not Sama, Kankrabi,
All those.
all those things. Abantu bakroliswa emaphathini. Yeah. Now here's the story then. I am in Kwamashu at high school. I meet this teacher of music. He teaches me Kuntampele, may his soul rest in peace. And whilst I'm learning, I'm his student, then they've got a band called Stax. Stax.
Yes.
So band called Stax has got Wake Mahlobo, Mandla Masuku, Bongani Nkwanyane.
But those are great musicians.
Yes. They were already musicians at that time. I was even featuring a melodic. So when we left Kwamashu, coming back to Meadowlands, then they were supposed to go on a tour. I think it was a month tour. Them as Casino, Chaklas, Zone 3, Aliket, Messi Pagela, and then they were also joining Lucky Dube. On that tour, I don't know what happened, the keyboard player went missing. And I was then, they remembered, hey, there's this Eugene.
Yeah.
We used to be with in Kwamashu, now he's in Johannesburg. Let's get Eugene to come and assist us. I rehearsed for 1 week, play for all these artists, to back all these artists. I went with them on that tour. This is where I met Lucky Dube, and then everything is history. I was playing bass synth for Messi Pagela, playing keyboards for Casino, Chaklas and Aliket.
But were you that good? Because those were superstars. I don't think people understand who you're talking about. Maybe the youngsters here might not understand, but those were big artists.
Yeah, that's why I say it was a blessing in disguise. Because when we came to Joburg, I was saying, I'm going to go to vets and going to at least my medicine this time. And I was called on this tour. When we finished the tour, Lucky Dube said, can you come with us to United States? We are going to United States for 3 months.
Immediately after the tour?
Yes, immediately after the tour, I was taken by Lucky Dube.
Eugene has been to too many countries.
We toured, bro. I think we spent only 2 weeks in South Africa. We actually had 2 passports during apartheid era. Whilst we're traveling with the other passport, the other one is gathering visas. When we come back, we leave this one, we take the other one, we visa going somewhere else. Everywhere in the world. When the United States was still 52 states, we were traveling. I know United States better than its president.
Yo.
I went to places that is named boss. You know.
But why don't you guys ever take pictures when you're? Oh, but by then I
there
guess
were no smartphones.
yeah.
There were no phones that time.
I always say to people they don't understand that we are actually the same.
Yeah.
Is that I don't know, one way or the other they find a way of hiding?
No, the difference with us is that the United States protects its image. You don't talk about United States. You know, this thing of patriotism in the United States is very important. Everybody has got a flag. When even in the houses, they've got flags. Others, they put flags in their cars. That's how much they love their country. And they will not talk nonsense about their country. We have the opposite. Our media is very loud. And one thing that they don't understand is that it is also detrimental towards our own economy. Because if we are telling the world that our country is in a mess, this is happening, who do you expect to come and invest? Do you expect foreign investors to come and invest in a country that you are saying to them it's not worth investing in it? That's why we have these situations that we're faced with, joblessness, because companies are moving out, are scared. We only have now the most, I think, dominant investor now is China, because they took a decision, a solid decision that they are going to come and invest. Post-1994, they were touring this country. We thought they were just touring. They were looking for opportunities, and their commitment, we can see the commitment is there.
So those are some of the learnings you gained when you were touring around the world.
Oh, tell me, my cultural activism comes from there.
Yeah, because I was about to ask you that, okay, why then did you become so conscious to a point that you just wanted to be an activist in this industry?
Well, touring in 1989, as early as in 1989, you go to Japan, you are exposed to a festival that is called Kondalota, where it is women only who are doing everything. Technical changing of the stage, the sound, everything. It's women only. Then you think, 1989, our women here are still subjected, they are still subjected to this suppression and oppression of being regarded as children. You know that women were regarded as children. Yes. In the apartheid era, they were not considered as people, as adults. That's why women could not even acquire a house. They needed a man. That's why that former apartheid government introduced something very funny. Now that we're talking about, we're celebrating Women's Day yesterday. This is, I don't know whether your dad did tell you this. This is how women that time used to get married. They would go to Home Affairs, which was still called Kwatanda Bantu, okay? And there's a room that would be lined with heads, amadopes. You remember those?
Yeah.
The heads.
Sometimes they would have a feather.
Yes. So they will be placed along that, along the floor. Along that that room, lined up. So a woman who wants to have a house must be married. Now the woman would come and choose a head.
Yo, what if you choose the wrong one?
Whoever.
Does it have a name attached to it?
No.
Oh, you just choose a Dobson.
A woman would come and choose a head. And then they will find out who the owner of the head is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got a name attached to it.
No, it doesn't. They will go outside and ask whose head. There's a room that has men sitting there. They know their heads. So if they say this head, and then you stand up, it's you. You are now the husband to that woman. That's how you got.
What if I'm in So she just chooses me.
You had no choice. The women were very ill-treated in this country. We're very ill-treated.
That's I'm saying, as the men, I
You-
don't want.
No, you came here, you brought your
Because you
your
were
head.
looking for somebody.
Yeah, you're looking for somebody. These women are looking for husbands so that they can get homes, houses. You know.
Oh, by the way, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what you said. But then was it limiting you to one woman?
Yeah, no, Toya's temple was not there. Die. You were only married once because that's the only marriage that will be recognized, the one with a certificate.
So, but you get to Japan, you see people.
People are living differently from us. I go to Peter Gabriel's studios, you know. We invited by Peter Gabriel, the Walmart Festival. We get to the airport as Lucky Dube's band and Lucky Dube and his band. We don't queue in the line. That's how much they respect Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
They take all our passports. We meet our passports at the hotel. We don't go through the immigration officer. That's how they respect him. He's a guest of Peter Gabriel. You come to our country, artists are disrespected, disregarded. You go to United States, you will never get to United States and bring the whole entourage, your own entourage. You will find that the union, artist union at the airport, waiting for you. When you land, they give you temporal union membership, okay? And that comes with conditions that you will now have the roadies that you must use are United States people, the engineer, the tour manager will be a United States person, okay? Mm-hmm. But they come here with what? You remember Michael Jackson even booked 3 floors at the hotel because you are currently saying Mabahambe. I'm not saying you are saying that. You are currently saying, people are saying Mabahambe put South Africans first. But the artists who are coming every month here from outside, are they not foreigners? So what are they saying about us? It's not put South Africans first when it comes to us. But everybody else, they must get
What's the importance of those things? And this leads me into also remembering. That's why I say I know too much about you. I even forgot. You were part of KUSA, Creative Workers Union of South Africa. Mm-hmm. Why is it important to have such unions? Because up to this day, some people my age still struggle to even understand the concept of having
a union.
Yes.
Unions help towards defending or protecting the labor force. Unions are a bargaining power. You know, like when you think of which union you can think of, the metal industry union. When they say tools down, you feel the pain. Okay, when health workers with their union they say tools down, you feel. Teachers or police have got a union, pop crew.
Pop crew, yes.
Yeah, when they say tools down, everything stops. But what do we do? When we are not okay about a certain situation, you stand up and say you'll be alone because others are scared. They've got names. They don't want to show their faces. But when we benefit from the activity, look at what happened at Sambro when I changed myself at Sambro. I don't think you know what was the outcome for that. I was saying we are tired of this underdog. Somebody must tell us what is happening. How do we end up with our songs being orphans, being undocumented when you would remember,
yes,
many years ago, you wouldn't release a song without giving the record company your deed of assignment, okay?
And now it doesn't happen, right?
It doesn't happen anymore. But that's how they took our publishing rights, okay? Now we used to notify.
Yeah, I remember those notification forms.
Those forms that we used to, and then you must provide a tape with your song. Project will do a staff notation for you. I think it was 16 bars of it.
Yes.
Now, how do you end up with the song that was notified, and then it jumped out of notification into this undocumented work. That's what I was saying. There are people who are colluding with the publishers from some stuff. As soon as your song becomes popular, it is in demand, it's on high rotation, then they take it out of undocumented works. I mean, out of documented works into undocumented works. So that that song sits there and the money, it's put on a suspense account. So that 3 years later, then you forfeit that money through prescription policy. Okay. So the union, if we had a union in this industry, such things wouldn't require Eugene to do a sit-in alone, you know. And out of that process, Eugene secured a issue where we're saying, no, you cannot apply prescription policy arbitrarily so, because us as artists, as composers, we had no access to the undoc. It is only the publishers that had access to the undoc. So if that is the case, you must now, because now I didn't know that my songs are on undoc. Remember, we submitted forms, so I couldn't. It's only when we had the portal that I realized, hey, but all our popular songs are on undoc. Now we have agreed. My fight got somebody to agree to, they are going to go back as far as 1989 to count all my royalties from then till now.
What if it's only you?
No,
what
it's for
about
everybody.
us?
It's
Okay.
for everybody. If they're doing it for me, they must do it for everybody.
Let me ask you another question before I go back to this undoc thing, because it's very interesting. You spoke about unions.
Yeah.
And you know most of the youngsters, most especially the ones that are sitting here in studio, they are actually surprised because in this country, when you say union, people see Mzabalazo, see Doi, see a politician, right?
Yeah.
But people don't understand that unions can cover any other person. Would you say the US and a lot of European countries have those unions?
Yeah, well, like I said, in the United States, you will never go and perform there without having a temporary membership. When you arrive, you get...
So they're still existing there?
I don't know if they still do, because I'm no longer traveling that much.
What's the significance of unions?
The significance of union is to say it has conditions. The issue, like for instance, the policies that we have in the country, the labor policies.
Then they can make them be implementable.
Practical.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then why are we failing?
The reason why we are failing in our sector is that, as opposed to other sectors, is that we don't have salaries. Unions, they survive from subscriptions, monthly subscriptions.
Yes. I remember at KUSA, that's what you guys were saying.
That's what we travel.
At first, it must start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you fought that battle for a very long time.
In
For
fact,
a very long time.
our government failed
Maybe
us.
more than 20 years.
Yeah.
You've been trying to change that.
In fact, the KUSA died a natural death because of that.
KUSA needed custodians.
It needed people who would say, as members, we will pay this much. Even if it was 10 rands or 20 rands, you know, a membership fee. But people are not. When you look at other unions, every month, if it is a mine workers union, the mines would be paying the unions a certain portion of what they are supposed to pay as salaries. They will be deducting those direct from the salaries of the people straight to the union. So that's how the union survive in those. Ours, unfortunately, you know, we don't have salary advice, monthly salaries. So it's very seasonal. Our job is very seasonal. So that's how it fails.
But in other countries, how do they deal with that issue of salaries?
Well, government, for instance, one of the things that we failed to do, when cars, those days when cars were coming, they were coming with CD players. So they will tax from the motor industry,
Yes.
they will tax from that if your cars have got CD players, we tax you. What was those CDRs, the recordable CDs, they will tax that because those CDRs are giving people
Access.
access to download the music,
So
to
then
record
why
the music.
didn't we tax USBs?
Everything we could.
Phones.
We could. Even phones. They're supposed to be paying.
That's why maybe they had to come up with a way of streaming. That was the only best way of reviving.
You know, we're supposed to be ahead of things. Had we had somebody in government who understands the industry, unfortunately, people see this in this sector as a demotion. When a minister is appointed here, they get demoralized because they think it's demotion, moving from police to arts and culture. Hey,
Whereas it's a big portfolio.
it's a very big, it's a huge portfolio. You know, arts and culture cuts across every sector. Let me tell you, maybe people don't know this. You will never create an attire or a cloth, a suit without designing. It starts from design. Designing is what? Creative. A house, architectural. A car needs a design. So our sector cuts across all the sectors, but it is the least considered. Look at the United States. The economy of the United States is based on music and films, Hollywood.
Spain as well.
You know, it's the biggest economy. Yeah. But here in South Africa, they don't even have the Department of Arts and Culture, by the way, in the United States. But their industry is nourishing. That's why when I was in Jacob Zuma's office, President Jacob Zuma's office.
And talking about that, I like it that you're mentioning that. You're one of the people that campaigned for President Jacob Zuma.
Hey,
and I remember when he won, you were one of the people that were out there celebrating.
Hey, it killed me, that thing.
Because you are right when you say it killed you.
It
Something
killed my
happened
music.
with you after.
Yeah, it killed my music. Because if you would remember, I was the person who came up with this 100% Jay-Z thing. Posters, we did all this thing I did, even songs with President Jacob Zuma. And every time they showed on TV in the news, they were talking about President Jacob Zuma. During those cases, those times before he became president, during the time of rape case and whatnot, they would show me going into President Jacob Zuma's restaurant. So in other words, they were saying, we are the same. So they were pushing that agenda. And all radio stations stopped. Even interviews, I would not get interviews. So my music was strained. My music career was strained. And then when we came back from Polokwane with Jacob Zuma going back now as president, I then said to him, I remember I sent him a message. I said, my journey now ends here with you. I'm going back to my industry.
But then he gave you a position in the office.
Hey, you don't know, people who were saying, hey, because people like talking things. Hey, you know, when you are a celebrity, hey, Shem, I don't know whether people understand what it is to be regarded as a celebrity.
And we were, you know, admiring that position. How chigi, few months down the line, you resign.
You know how I got that position? People were saying that it was payback. It wasn't payback. You would remember when President Jacob Zuma made his first State of the Nation address, and then he mentioned sport as a unifying component of the society. Hey, I took him to task. I wrote him a very scathing letter or email saying, I'm so disappointed that the very sector that supported you all the way, you isolate arts and culture, and you are saying sports only. No wonder why sports is so organized. No wonder why sports is so well funded. Because you all are the same. You think the same. Let me educate you. Arts and culture, it's supposed to be the umbrella. Sports must come under arts and culture. Because when you think of soccer, you think of black people. When you think of rugby, who do you think? Afrikaners. When you think of cricket, it's Indians and English people. Okay. When you give a child, a black child, a tennis ball, he's not going to go and get a racket, tennis racket.
Yeah.
Okay. When you give it to a white child, it's tennis racket. So it is culture. You know, it is informed by the culture. So that's in the South African context. So that was my view at that time. And because President Jacob Zuma listens and his humility, he then responded and said, I got a letter from Eugene Mthethwa and I want to apologize. He was correct. What brings people together is arts, culture, and sports. We must, and I'm going to support that. That's how we ended up with the Sandton Convention Center meeting 2009 with almost half of the cabinet ministers there, because I was there in his office.
I remember you pushed that agenda to a point that the president had to meet us as the creatives and cultural industries. But you were trying to make a point when I said you campaigned for President Jacob Zuma.
Yes, I did.
You were trying to say something about him.
I was at the center of that because I believe that he was a Joseph thrown into the deep. It was painful to see a comrade being thrown into the dustbin by your own comrades. You know, when you are fired, I was there at President Jacob Zuma's house when Tate Kgalema Mtlante came to tell President Jacob Zuma that as the deputy president of this country, you're going to be fired tomorrow by President Thabo Mbeki. Okay. They were sitting upstairs and I was with WHP and I had taken some artists to go and meet him. And then he came down, that humility, that man with so much humility. He came down to say to us, I'm coming back I'm going to come. We went there without even an appointment. So he says, instead of sending somebody that, go and tell them that I'm coming to see them. After 10 minutes, he comes down himself, breaking from that meeting. Very important meeting.
You know, it's funny that you are saying that about President Jacob Zuma. And I always say to people, there is something very strange about him. You know, one day, most of us will tell our own individual journeys with him.
Yeah.
And the world would be very shocked at that other side of him. You know, regardless of what might have happened in anything, but the humility part, where he would leave a meeting and just come and meet you and say,
yeah,
I'll come. And then he will write the notes on a piece of toilet paper. But he will remember everything that you discussed.
He's a good listener, this person.
And if he promised to call you, trust
he
me,
will.
he's going to call you. And it's him calling, or somebody will call you and say,
And then,
what kind of human being is that?
The unfortunate thing is that he then associated himself, surrounded himself with the wrong people. Post-Polokwane, he was trying to unite the ANC by even giving position to people who were in the other clique, so to say, the Thabo Mbeki's clique. He gave them positions, and I think that's where he killed himself.
But why wouldn't he, or why shouldn't he, because it's one party?
Yes, that's what he was trying to do, because
but why wouldn't you, if it was
our understanding is that when you go to the conference, elective conference, people, it's a very highly contested terrain. But after the conference, whoever wins, we must rally behind that. That was our understanding. But no, people were very angry. From that thing, I remember even Paulo Jordan, may his doctorate rest in peace. I remember him saying he's not going to be led by an uneducated person. You know. And I respected this man because he did not go to school. President Jacob Zuma did not go to school. He learned through reading newspapers. But he was so smart. He's very smart. The unfortunate thing, as I say, that he kept himself with the wrong people and distanced himself from everyone who was supporting him. Julius Malema, myself, Balulas, and them. He just
Zizi
distanced himself.
Kodwa.
He distanced himself from everybody. Everyone.
How so, though?
Except his daughter. Now, you talking about me resigning. Yes, I resigned because I think it was in 2011. I resigned after the hotline and the stakeholder relations.
Was it too much work?
No, I thought that when he brought me in, he would then consider the sector because he knew that I was very active when it comes to politics of the sector. So I thought he would then put me in a position that will then allow me to do things for the sector. But I realized that the sector was suffering and I was busy with the hotline, and I got sick because I absorb people's problems and make them my own. That's one weakness I have. I'm very, very sympathetic towards people, and I got sick because of the hotline. And then
What do you mean you got sick?
I got sick. I was hospitalized because of the stress. You know, people calling you in the middle of the night, a.m. Hey, my man doesn't want to sleep with me. I have to drive to Alexander because they are fighting. I remember that situation, that incident. I had to drive at 3 a.m. because the wife and the husband were fighting, and I could hear the commotion behind, as she was calling me, because people, when they called again, they thought that they would hear the president's voice on the other side. And our phones, we're supposed to pick up our phones at any given time. So if they call at 3 a.m., I have to pick up and say, yeah. And I went to Alexander to go and resolve the issue of a husband who doesn't want to do his conjugal.
How long did you last there?
I came back, I think it was towards 6 in the morning, because it was until even the police, they came, because I thought, no, this requires police. You know why people were calling for such things? Because when we introduced the hotline, the communication was not properly done to say it is issues that relate to government services only.
I was about to say that if you say people didn't understand, you sound like you're one of the people that also didn't understand, because you say you wanted more for your own industry rather than looking upon the whole spectrum of issues.
No, now, yes, the reason why I was put in the hotline. Remember the email that I wrote, the skating email? The president saw something beyond that. Said, okay, if this person can write to me as the president, such a skating email, this is the person I need at the hotline.
Oh, yeah.
Who would be able to pick up
Fearless.
the call and tell the minister that your department is not responding, it's not resolving issues. What's your problem? And that's what I did. Exactly. It's a pity that some of the things that I did with the hotline were never published. You know, there's a case where I solved a case, Yomunyu Mama from Northwest, I won't mention her name. She was losing a house the following day through FNB. She had actually done work for government, and government in the Northwest government was owing her 9 million, and they were not paying. Something that we're talking about. You do work for government, you get, your company will die. She had even lost the company. In fact, she had closed the company because she couldn't pay workers.
In fact, I want you to break it down so that people understand. They think working for or with government is actually a privilege. But I don't think people understand the hardships of doing business with government. Because firstly, you have to spend your money before getting paid, and you don't even know when you are going to get paid.
I think one of the things that led me to resign from government is logic doesn't exist in government. When you become a government employee, a public representative or public servant, you must throw away. It has a very tedious process. When you have to get an approval, it starts from there. deputy director, then it goes to director, then it goes to chief director, then it goes to DDG, then it goes to DG before it gets signed, approved. It has gone through this. So
Yeah.
if one person is not,
And those might be, let's say, from communications. Those might just be from communications only. But in between that, there would still be your SCMs and, finance that have
it's
to still...
bureaucracy. It's bureaucracy. It doesn't make
But
sense.
I'm sure there's a reason.
No, it doesn't make sense. That's why I'm saying logic doesn't. How do you expect, a letter to be signed? It takes a month just to sign a letter. That will go out because it must go through these processes internally before. You can't, as a deputy director, put a letter and sign it yourself and send to somebody who needs it. Now, companies, they suffer because of that, because the decisions for other to be paid, his company to be paid, it can take 3 months. That's why we introduced the issue of the 30-day.
You have confronted a lot of government leaders in your career, and fearlessly so. And even those that might disagree with you now about an issue or two or whatever, still agree on one thing, that, guys, certain issues needed a Eugene kind of character to deal with it. What made you fearless? Because you have confronted almost everybody, every minister, everybody in the industry. You name that person Eugene has confronted, and you've got a lot of differences with a lot of ministers. But you still continue doing it. What pushes you? What drives you? Why are you fearless? Why are some of us scared to talk? But you are brave enough to talk. Don't you think it compromises you at some point? Why don't you care?
It has compromised me. It has actually suffocated me. It has led to me suffering and my family suffering because of that. And the reason why I am like that is because we as artists, our CV is not the one that is written on paper. We come out with our own CV from our mother's wombs. You are appointed to be an artist at birth. Now, genetically, you carry these genes, and these genes are transferred to your children involuntarily. You have children who are artists. Now, if we don't sort out things now, and we die having not sorted out these things, we leave them with the problems.
That baggage remains with them.
My commitment is now for my children. I've got children who are artists.
Yes,
I don't want them to be artists. And I know the pain that I'm subjecting them, because I can see they go into the studio, they do wonders in the studio. There's a boy who writes lyrics in 5 minutes and go and do it one take on the mic. That's how gifted my kids are.
Yes, I know.
And now
the other one plays the piano as well, right?
The younger one now plays the piano, started at the age of 3 without anybody showing him how to create a chord. I came and I sneaked the room. I went, he's playing 3 fingers.
But you started that battle even before these kids could be talented.
Yeah.
There's still something. I hear you about, unless if you are just saying that you are doing it for future generations, not specifically your kids, because you've been doing this for too long. I mean, KUSA, you've been part of KUSA. How many years ago was that? It's more than 20 years.
Yeah.
Hence, I'm saying you've been doing this for too long.
Well, I started even far beyond that, far beyond the KUSA time. During the time when I was with Lucky Dube, I was one person. That's why Lucky Dube was calling me Mr. I'm the only one he was saying Mr. Eugene Mthethwa. Others he would call them by name.
And he was also conscious as well.
He respected the fact that I will not allow anything to happen. Let me give you an example of what happened. One time we playing, I think it was in Milwaukee, in the United States, and then the drummer made a mistake, and then he swear.
Who like it to?
He was swearing at this drummer. And then after the show, he says, he calls us, all of us, he says, you know, when people come to watch the show, they come to watch Lucky Dube. When they go away, they go away with Lucky Dube's name, that, Lucky Dube was played nonsense, you know. If something goes wrong, it's his name. And I said, oh, is it so? Told the guys, after he left, I told the guys, tomorrow we are playing, I don't know where was it, I think Chicago, somewhere there. And I said, tomorrow we are not gonna dance. We are just going to do what we are appointed for, what we were brought here to do. If you're a keyboard player, you're gonna play your keys and you don't move. You know how we used to do there was choreography everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. You guys
everywhere
were
was
like the most tight
Yeah.
fit ever.
So I said, Bus Bumbe, you know, you're gonna play your bass, stand still. Backing singers, you're not gonna dance. Volley and your team saxophonist, the brass band is not gonna do anything. So I want him to show us that it is about Lucky Dube. That show was so difficult for him that after the show,
he looks, you guys
he wants to come to the brass band just goes, not dancing. He goes to the backing singers, you know, he would join the backing singers and do some choreography. The backing singers are just standing still and singing. He comes to me and Chutugane, we're not doing anything. After the show, he cried. Tears. Literally
But you guys
cried.
sabotaged him.
No, but I wanted him to prove, because I was trying to show him that we are adding value into your show. It's not about you alone. We all do that. So remember that we're rehearsing from Monday to Friday without any payment, okay? He did not see that value. When he spoke to us and saying, it is Lucky Dube, it's him now, you know, I felt, oh, okay, I want him to show us if it is him.
But was it the drummer's fault when he got shouted at? Or
Yes, it was his fault. I mean, we are human beings. You
Also-
make a mistake. When you play, I could play the keyboard and bump a note. That shouldn't be an issue where you are now going to tell me that you can send me back home. That's how arrogant he was becoming. I humbled him that day. Ask anybody, ask what Jabus Bumba, they'll
yes,
tell you.
I'm going to ask them.
Yeah,
you know
they'll
me.
tell you. I humbled him. I said nobody was, and he agreed. He came back to confess and say, and he apologized. Part of that was me sitting in the pool, not accepting the room where we were packed. The three of us, me, Ndumiso, and Jabum Zulu, were always made to sleep together in one room. And I said, no, I can't be sleeping alone at home. And then when I'm at work, I'm subjected to these conditions. They sorted out that.
So, though. But there's 3 beds, it's one.
What bed? There was a roller bed that I knew everywhere where we go. There's a roller bed that's going to be pushed there. Eugene. And I said, no, I can't. Labor relations conditions, labor conditions that you are employed. You can't be given lesser than what you have at home. You know, what's that? Reggae Sunsplash. We're going to
Jamaica.
Reggae. There's American one and there's Jamaica.
Yes.
The last run, it's in Jamaica. We started touring with the Shabarens, Max the Priest, Papa San, Beretin Levy, I forgot, Aswat. We're touring. And then we get into the change room, Lucky Dubes. We are 14-piece band. We've got 1 orange juice that has expired. 1 orange juice in our change room. 14-piece band. I go to Shabarens, he's got a dining hall. Like a dining hall, literally everything. It's like a gala dinner for a king. Go to Aswad, they've got everything. Go to Banks Priest, they've got everything. I went to the organizer of Reggae Sunspace, and I said, please tell me, are you undermining us because we come from Africa? You think with that we come we live in the bushes. Why are we given one expired orange juice and everybody else has got everything in their catering? And you know what? I'm going to show you. I'm not supposed to do this. He pulls out the contracts of all the artists. They've tabled everything that they want, listed every item that they want, even salt. Pulls out ours. Ours it's blank. The apologetic us who are always saying, I'm sorry this, when we don't know why we say I'm sorry. Now, Richard Sluma as the producer, as the manager,
Yes.
did not put anything because he was scared that they would say, hey, these ones are costly because we are a 14-piece band. So he was very apologetic.
So he's like me.
Very apologetic.
Because I'm like that. I'm scared to, do this hospitality rider thing.
Why?
I just feel like I'm paid to go perform. I need to get a technical rider. Why hospitality rider? Educate me. Because you've seen it on another level.
I'm a guest, I'm your guest. You are hosting me. Okay. You will never do that with Americans. One of the things that has led us to be poor as artists in South Africa, we are very apologetic. Americans, when they come here, even Nigerians, when they come here, you pay them a lot of money to come here, to do the same thing that you would do when as an artist. You even become the curtain raiser, when you are the best artist in the country, but when they come here, you become a curtain raiser.
But
Okay.
my reasoning is that money that they have to buy you all those things in the hospitality area could be invested in something else.
No, he was scared that they won't call us again. Yet
Yes,
they are doing
that's how I am. That's what
but
I'm
why
saying.
are they doing it for others? Why others are getting that hospitality rider?
So you had to fight that.
I had to fight that. And
But also, Eugene, I hear what you're saying.
I
but
was learning, by the way, in the process. That's how I learned.
I was about to say that's when you started. Every minister that came through, you fought with them. So it's the system that's wrong, not individuals.
Lack of capacity.
Do you have a favorite minister of arts and culture, for example?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly my point.
This is one's
You've always been an activist.
Portfolio that is undermined big time. This is the only portfolio where they can take a minister from another political party. I'm not talking about NGU. Ne? I'm talking about the minister from Inkatha Freedom Party, Dr. Ben Gubani, was given this.
I remember.
They will never give anyone the Minister of Police from another political party. They will never give that. They will never give Minister of Finance to another political party. But arts and culture, so those are the things that makes me angry all the time, that we are giving people who don't know anything about the sector. You will never find the sector, the health sector, being given to somebody who's not a doctor. So
and why is that?
Because we're quiet. We're quiet.
And when you say they, I'm assuming you're talking about the ANC.
Yes, obviously. It's
why
ANC
is the
that has
ANC
been
doing that?
I mean, why didn't they make Miriam Makeba minister? Somebody who had played such a pivotal role that even OR admitted that what we couldn't do in many years, Miriam Makeba did it in less than 10 minutes at the United Nations. But when they became a government, they never considered Miriam Makeba to be the minister. Why? Huma Sikelas, there were so many. Jonas Gwangwas who died very bitterly. They were bitter when they died. And they were not given this. But go to health. You'll never find them giving health to somebody who knows nothing about health issues.
Would you say the problem continues or is it getting sorted?
It continues unabatedly. I mean, we have Gayton Mackenzie.
And it works for him and his party, obviously.
Yes.
Because it has highlighted the good things that one would say PA did, because we would not have known about PA if he was not the minister.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of us knew, but I'm saying, when I say we, I'm talking about the public.
It's a
because
very
people
dangerous.
are now saying, where is he from?
Yeah.
Where was he? Because
It's a very dangerous portfolio, because this is a portfolio where people can siphon money easily. You know, there's thing yoguti people wash money, dirty money, through, you know, people would then have restaurants, clubs, and have farms. You know, this department, if I want to clean money, dirty money, I would do it easy with this department, because that is why most of these ministers, instead of saying, how can we transform, they become events management department. It's about events. Okay? Who, if you give me 20 million, dirty money, and I do, you remember I said this thing, long before General Mkhwana confirmed it, and now it's coming out. When DJ somebody died, and I said, I hope artists are not involved in cleansing, washing dirty money, getting into drugs and that deals, because there's a pattern.
And we felt you were a bit harsh.
Yes, but here now you look back and say, what Eugene said, here is it, it's there. DJ somebody is there on General Mkhwana's. So it's a department, this sector, it's very easy to do that, because if I have a show at FNB and you want to wash your money, you give me 20 million, please help me to bank this money. I do the show. Nobody's going to come and say, how many people paid cash at the gate? Okay? And then the following day, I go and bank your 20 million, whatever that I made. Okay? So it's money that I made from the show. And then how I have to pay Arthur 10 million because he did ABC, what. Who's going to come and say, hey, did you bring security guards? How many security guards did you bring? Did you do anything that I could say you did? You did PR for us. You did it. I can package it until it makes sense. The 10 million makes sense. So
what do you think was the ANC's thinking in putting Gayton Mackenzie as the Minister of Arts and Culture?
No, they're just throwing him, they're just giving him a position. They know that arts and culture, sports arts and culture will not complain, will not say anything. So he's part of the GNU. So you're giving us a vote in the GNU. We're giving you this. It's not important for us.
Why is it not important for the ANC?
Because they don't take it serious. I mean...
But then explain to us, how serious is that department in terms of transformation of the industry?
Yeah, I'll give you examples that I've done so many times with you. I've spoken to you a number of times about these things. This is one.
I'm privileged. You always tell me. Hence, I want you to make people aware of our conversations all the time.
We currently have this xenophobic attacks that Africa as a continent is seeing us in bad light. When you have to transport goods, those who are trading with the outside world, the outside countries, when you have to transport goods, export goods, the trucks, they go through Mozambique. Now, if you are saying Mozambicans, go, they say, okay, you don't want us, fine, you're no longer going through Mozambique to transport your goods. What happens to the 1,500 trucks that are at the border gate? Pelil Msebins, companies have lost, okay? Other companies will be sued, all right? Now you have this sector. How can this sector help in this situation? We are the world, United States of Africa, of America comes and sings for Africa. We are the children because there's something happening in Africa that they need to help. What about Africa playing its role in peacekeeping? Okay, where's the song that talks to what is happening now? Where are the festivals that should be happening in the border gates, in the borders?
What if you are scared to do that song because the same minister
says Mabaham is conflicted?
So then you might be in trouble.
But it's the right thing that we need to do. We are part of the globe. We are part of the...
Hence I'm saying that why are you fearless as compared to the industry? I'll keep on asking this question all through this interview because it goes back to the very same thing.
It's
that everybody's scared.
The values that were inculcated in me by my family, coming from minister and minister, I was beaten. Even for my younger brothers, when they did something wrong, I was the one who was getting the punishment. So I know what it is to take responsibility. And whatever that is happening in the industry, for me, if it is wrong, it's wrong. I can't hide it, I can't. That's how I was brought up, to be able to vocalize issues, to speak as it is, to tell it like it is. I tell it like this. I once had that, I think it was in a web page that I had to say, tell it like this, and YouTube, where I wanted to say, tell it like it is. For me, I get so worried and disturbed. At night, I can't sleep when I am sitting with something that I know it's worrying me and I have not talked about it. Rather than keeping quiet and smiling with you, when you think that, hey, Eugene, we are friends, and on the other hand, Eugene is not this friend. When he goes the other side, he talks bad about you. When he comes to you, he smiles with you.
You rather just...
No, hate me for what... You can hate me for what I've said to you. But I know that whatever that I say, if I was wrong, I'm able to say, I'm sorry that I said that thing. You know that.
Yes.
Okay? So that's just me. And it's a calling, Arthur. To be honest with you, it's a calling. These things, they don't come just...
Hence, I'm trying to get deep in understanding. You know, I watch portfolio committee meetings. You and Gayton McKenzie.
Did you see the recent one?
Yes.
Of SIPS?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, does he feel like you are after him, or what's the relationship with Gayton McKenzie?
No, the problem with Gayton McKenzie is that he takes it personal. You see, I can be harsh during the portfolio committee and finish and send him a message to say, you know, there's this thing. So you can't separate the two. There's Eugene outside portfolio committee. There's Gayton McKenzie outside the ministry department portfolio. Gayton, I've known Gayton long before he became the minister, long before I became we used to, even West with the other partner. Because we were even in the clubs, we would be there having drinks and whatnot. So that shouldn't die. I shouldn't, because I'm EFF, I cannot be there for talk to you because you are Patriotic Alliance. We talk. But he takes it very personal. That's what I've noticed. He becomes very emotional, you know. But he admits. He has admitted. One time he said to me, You know, you are so smart. I don't understand, Eugene, why you are not doing business with all these ideas that you have. You know, and I said to him, I said, everyone has got his own gift and own calling, purpose in life. You know, I cannot do what I thought. One thing that I can tell you, and I'm going to tell you now, if you've never heard me saying, you are such a shrewd businessman. This industry doesn't know how to do business. That's one thing that you are excelling at. You've always excelled in it.
Thank you.
It's a pity that as black people, we aren't able, in this sector, we aren't able to come together and use different skills, our different skills, and do something big.
I'm sure people out there are going to be surprised because of, you know, how many times you attack me in public. How many times you've attacked me in public.
Yeah.
And I would always, after a while, call you and say, but what did I do?
Yeah.
Help me redirect my energies the correct way.
You see, that's what is good about you. You ask. You don't conclude and then go to social media
And fight back.
And fight back.
May I call you? Because I know you. I mean, I know you, Eugene. You say this thing out of a certain space. Maybe you're trying to educate people about something, or you're trying to educate me, but you feel like if you're to tell me, I don't know, but I always call you or text you and say, please explain to me what is it that I did wrong.
That's how you learn.
So that I sleep at night, knowing that I at least try to find out.
Yeah.
I mean, Julius Malema has said things about me, and I would even text or say something, whether he responds or not, I would still try and find out what did I do wrong. Obviously, there are people that I don't know that would say things on Twitter, and I don't care.
My bro, there's no scrapyard for people. There's nowhere where you can going to throw a person and say this person is unrepentant, beyond repair. There's nothing like that. It's only cars that are beyond repairs. So,
But not human beings.
So human beings have a potential of changing. It is up to me to tell you the truth and leave you for you to decide what you do with the truth. If you decide, no, I'm not going to use this, he's drunk, this one is talking nonsense, it's at your own risk, at your own detriment.
Two things that I might suspect are happening, and you have to correct me. A lot of artists and creatives in the industry are always saying the sector must be led by somebody who comes from the industry, right? And then...
What are you saying?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And then I'm Gayton McKenzie, right? And you always are taking me. And people are sort of condoning what you are doing, that he's right, right? There's two things. It might be, I'm worried that the EFF might take the portfolio, because remember, it's just a matter of negotiating your way into the GNU, and then Eugene becomes the Minister of Arts and Culture, right? Number two might be, I need to protect my public persona, because if Eugene is always hating me, you know this thing grows. It keeps on growing and growing and growing, and people will end up seeing mistakes in me. And I'm saying this because recently, more especially in the last few days after the World Cup, it hasn't been a smooth sailing journey.
For him?
So, yes, hence I'm saying, what if he's also defending himself? He doesn't have a problem with you. Maybe he just doesn't know how to get to you and talk to you like I would, even if you would attack me. Because you've attacked me many times, but I would still have the guts to ask you. And I wouldn't even go in public and try and humiliate you.
You know, EFF is about superior logic. Remember I said in government, they throw away logic. If he would be honest, he would tell you that I spoke to him when he was appointed, and I said, these are the things that I warned him about. Said, you can't bring the new wine and put the new one in the old sack. Your officials are quite familiar with the systems and how to manipulate the systems and do that. These are the same officials who've been there for years, but that department hasn't done much. Okay. Now, if you come in and you believe in everything that you are told by your staff members, they are going to throw you under the bus. Okay. This is what I said to him.
But what if I'm a politician? I hear what Eugene is saying. Yeah. I fully agree with Eugene.
Yeah.
But I'm part of the GNU. And I know I might not last long in that thing if the GNU collapses.
Yeah.
Do I get in there and try and collapse that system that's existing? Or do I try and say, let me make do with what's happening now so that by the time I leave, I've done what I wanted to do? Because the admin people can actually sabotage you as a politician.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
You become Chacharak when you get there. So what if it's just a chess game that he's playing?
No,
I see what's happening.
Give Eugene that department.
Yeah.
Give Eugene that department just for 1 year or 6 months. You will see.
But Eugene is fearless.
The difference is that you see.
And Eugene maybe wants to be genuine with what he believes in, but somebody else might be a politician more than.
Oh, so they are living lies. They are living lies. It's their own issue if they are living his living lies. I'll show you typical of what I said to him, and now he's getting exposed. Yes, he would come, he would stand up there, praise Cyril Ramaphosa, the president, because of the position. Even I would do the same thing if I'm given this second chance, and I never thought I would be a minister.
Because you praise the president?
I'm saying him coming from his background, where he comes from, he feels that he has been given a second chance. That's why he thanks God for giving him a second chance. Yes, I would also be like that. But what lacks with us as black people, we want to do everything and say, it is me, it is me. We can't surround ourselves with knowledgeable people. That's the only thing that is required. Even if you are just a politician, bring in people who are knowledgeable so that they can help you to look good.
But what if those people that are around you are the ones giving you this advice that you can't bring those ones because they might hit you, like you said earlier on about the issue of President Zuma?
They might hit you. The knowledgeable people who are coming from other political parties.
Yes, or from the industry.
Then you will not deliver. But you know, the sad thing is that your conscience will never be okay, knowing that what is it that you could have left as a legacy. You know, this is what disturbs me constantly. My conscience must always be clear. If you've done something wrong and I didn't tell you, I will be left with a conscience that is not clear, because I'll keep on saying, shame, had I told him this, he wouldn't be where he is. Okay? He would have done something different. He would have done it differently. I said to, and it was a very painful response from him. I said to him, I remember I was arguing, debating the budget speech, and because he was agitated, I'm saying, as a minister, you've got a son who then buys a club. Why won't there be any conflict of interest? How are you going to deal?
I remember I was watching that.
Okay, and then he came back and said, "Yeah, Eugene, you must get my son out of your mouth. You couldn't what at Sambro you took money and you are fighting. You want me to fight your battles that you lost when you were in the industry." And I said, wow, that was very personal. But be that as it may, I'll get him. He knows I told him what I told him. And I said, "Sifsa?" I thought, okay. He said, yeah, this is what he was saying. I am fighting the battles because I was saying SIPSA must come and account. SAMIC must come and account. These are government, these are public funds that were used. But we cannot learn. Madlanga is teaching us. You know, we are learning from Madlanga to see, hey, yeah, no, things were really bad. You know, nobody would want to go back to that situation. This is what we must do. I've been saying this industry lacks leadership. People who understand corporate governance. You know what happened in SAMIC. You know that SAMIC, I was removed by another SAMIC.
I've been with you all through these journeys.
Are you aware that I was removed from being the president of SAMIC by another SAMIC that was registered?
Yes.
Not the SAMIC. So
I
the
was
SAMIC,
there. Remember, I had to be checked out because I was fighting for you to be reinstated. Because I still, up to this day, know why you were removed. And I was a board member, but I still don't know.
Don't know. I don't know either why I was removed, but I can see as time goes on, it shows. But
the scary thing about you, Eugene, you can...
I'm saying that now, if you watched the last meeting we had, I even said, oh, now you've got the report, the forensic report from Koboto, which I still argue is not correct, that it's not complete. Now that you have that forensic report and you can see that this is deeper than what we have, would you apologize to me? Because you said I'm fighting my battles. Are these my battles?
I didn't watch it in full, but apparently they say you are now told that you are implicated as well.
Who?
As Eugene.
I laughed.
So that happened?
No. Yes, it happened. They were trying to use something that doesn't exist so that it gets me from sitting in that meeting, because they knew that, like you remember what happened in Mangau. I was isolated. Even the mic, I couldn't speak on the mic.
I remember.
It was taken away from me because they were trying to hide the issues that during the meetings of the interim committee, I was one person who was saying, no, this is not right. You can't appoint people who are sitting around the table and make them service providers when they are. Actually, the interim committee represents the board.
But Eugene, why don't you ever forget? Like, even if somebody did something 20 years ago.
Yeah,
I remember at some point you came with files. Like files. Remember?
It was
now it's easier. There's social media, there's what, there's a lot of things. But you've been writing, even before social media, before your AIs and everything. You've been writing, you've been compiling these things. Why don't you forget?
Ask General Mkhwanazi, why didn't he forget?
Why don't you forgive?
Why don't I forgive? It's not that I don't forgive.
You just don't forget.
I speak with the people that did whatever they did. I speak with them.
Yeah, you did.
I talk to them. But I don't forget.
But you don't forget.
I don't forget because those experiences are what going to teach us what not to do. You can't, when you hide things and not deal with those things, if you don't know your history, how are you going to know what not to do in the future? You have to learn from what you've done. And that's purely what I want. I want people to take accountability and say, hey, sorry, I did this and I realized it was wrong. I don't want people to go to jail. It's not that I don't want to destroy people's lives, but they're constantly poking me. You know, when you hear somebody during the portfolio committee say, no, this is not fair, you are saying to me, I'm lying. When you are lying, and it is a statutory offense when you lie to the parliament, okay? I have all the rights to take all those files and go to the police station and say, this one, I want him to be arrested. I'm opening a case for, I can open a case for all of them that were there. You remember.
And you fight alone.
Yeah, I'm alone. I'm alone. I've realized that one of the things that people, when people are not informed, they become withdrawn and scared to speak. When you don't have information, when you don't have knowledge, you will. I stand with professors and argue with professors.
But Eugene, some of us know, and we are 100% sure,
Yeah.
but we are scared.
I should namakwala straight village. I could show if we kwala. I am from Mthethwa. If you know the history of the Mthethwas, we are kingmakers. Shaka was brought up by us, taught by us how to fight. So we come from that. Our lineage is that of fighters. And if you find a Mthethwa who's a Nekampum, I don't know where he comes from. Go and listen to Zwelakhe Mthethwa. Ne? Listen to that man in parliament where MK, when he contextualizes issues, land issues, you can't touch him. So that's why I was so actually disappointed by Nathi Mthethwa. May his soul not rest in peace. I still say it.
May his soul rest in peace.
No,
That's
may his soul not rest in peace.
Why?
Because our children were deprived of the future, the better future that we could have built with
But
them.
he was a humble man.
Even him, when he was appointed, I called him.
I
said,
remember you.
you know, I said,
You told me.
we don't worry, Mtasekhaya. Police, you've got Marikana that is always over your head. Come here, you coming here, don't consider it a demotion. Consider it a blessing in disguise. You just got married. Go to the events with your wife. But let's have a tank, a thinking tank.
But why would you be so harsh even when he's gone? I mean, he's never done anything to you. As far
No,
as I know.
he's my enemy. Anyone who is an enemy to my sector is my enemy. Anyone.
Would you call Gaten an enemy?
Yes, he's my enemy. If he does things wrongly so, he becomes my enemy. As long as you are messing up with the sector, you are messing up with me, my children's life, because as I said, those who are calling themselves administrators, they don't have their children, they won't have their children following them into our sector. But we have our children who have involuntarily become artists by virtue of being born out of an artist, genetically so. What are you saying? I come with Samik, you mess up Samik. I came up with Samik, you know the truth. You mess up Samik. I come with Sipster, you were there when I knelt before my Mbaleka. The Ntantlas, they are claiming easy victories. I knelt before Mambaleka and
Where were we? At Parktown?
Moyeni
Yes.
Hotel.
Yes, I was there.
And I said,
I think I even have videos there, pictures.
Yes.
Because remember, I started mentoring videographers and photographers. I must look at that.
that picture where I
Yes,
was kneeling
yes, I
before
remember.
and saying the umbrella body for the sector. When we did Samik, we were already ahead of what we knew that's going to be this SIFSA, and we will be the first
And
to affiliate.
when somebody's sitting here listening to what you're saying and they are observing from a point of not having the opportunity to sit with you like this, they're going to say, Eugene wants to make this thing about himself. That if he says do this and you don't do it, he'll be on your case.
But, okay, if that is the case, Eugene has been saying this is how it must be done. Okay? And people did not do it that way. What have we achieved? Okay? Let's do it my way and see.
For a change.
For a change, let me be proven.
Once.
You know, people are hijacking things that are without vision. And I never said, it must, you know, Tony Kgoroge got, I'm telling you now, openly, you can go and take me to any police station or court. You know, Tony Kgoroge was supported by the department to become the president. You remember that Tony Kgoroge was at a lodge. Ne? Where did he get money to book the entire lodge for everybody who was going to vote for him to be there with meat and booze?
And I booked for myself, by the way.
I booked for myself.
Oh, you also booked for yourself?
I was in the interim, but I booked for myself.
Everybody that went there were paid for by the department. I paid for myself.
Yeah, but anyway, the further SIU investigation now that's going to come now, it's going to go to that. I said to them, one of the things that they were using was the issue of, they were saying that I organized buses, 4 buses, to come and support me. And how they know that, because those people were carrying placards with my
You
face.
had a banner, I remember.
I was shocked to see the banner. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that there was a banner. But in that banner, there were 2 people.
I
You
remember the banner was saying Eugene for president, right?
And then another guy,
Oh, there was a secretary, no?
secretary.
Yes.
So this guy did the banner with my face in order to be associated with me when people vote
Who
for
was
me.
it?
I even forgot
Yes.
the name. So they did that on their own. Now they are saying, all of them, and I can actually open case of criminal injury, because they are talking what they don't have. They don't have facts. And I said, okay, let's do this. If you are saying there are organized buses, let's get a section 205 of our phones during that period. Things can be retrieved. Let's get and see who was communicating with the buses. Who was communicating on our phones? Secondly, the department, why did the department pay for the buses, extra buses at 700 and something thousand with accommodation of people who were not invited, who were brought by Eugene? Why didn't they demand Eugene to pay for that?
So then one would think your grudge with the late Eugene Mthethwa comes from there.
From what?
From then, because he was the minister by then.
No. It's not from the conference. It's a lot of things. As I said, that I told him.
Because I forgot that he was the minister, because I remember.
When he came, remember that the then Minister of Arts and Culture was Paul Mashatile before him. Paul Mashatile looked for people from different sectors who are activists in those subsectors and sectors, okay, based on the UNESCO Declaration of Sectors. And then he brought people based on skills. You have Eric Mien, very sound person, educated in the film industry. You had Ubabu Stole, Kit Stole, who is in the sector. Then when you come in as a minister, you parachute Tony Khoroge. For what reason? At the tail end, when we had done so many things, you bring Tony Khoroge, who was not part of this, who was not appointed by Paul Mashatile. I don't even think that he's got even an appointment letter. I'm going to ask him for the appointment letter, by the way.
Hence I say I'm in pain when I think of those kind of things, because we were in committees, if you remember.
Yes.
We had meetings, we were appointed.
Yeah.
But come the day of the inauguration of the SIFSA board, or whatever you call it, I pay for myself at a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
I pay for my transport. And everybody else is paid for by the department.
Let me give you the advantage, now that you've asked me to come here, let me give you the advantage of knowing what truly happened there. You'll be the first one to know about this, and publicly so. We had, if you remember, we had processes of identifying the delegates. Some committee members were deployed in different provinces to go and assist the process of identifying the delegates. The provinces, they went through, it was a meeting of the province where they went through and then they submitted names. Parallel to that process, the departments, provincial departments were doing their own, because the whole idea was to get Tony Khoroge in as the president. Now, what I intercepted were emails from the departments, provincial, sending names. The reason why, explain to me, you give the interim committee 5 million to organize, to register and organize the conference, the elective conference, inaugural conference, okay? But when we go to the conference, the department pays for the buses, 9 provinces. Why? Because they had their own lists parallel. Who was that? Greg Maluk. Was it not Greg Maluk? Not Greg Maluk.
Not Greg. It wouldn't be Greg Maluk.
No, Glenn Masukwane. Glenn Masukwane comes to me and says, hey, Eugene, man, allow this man to be the president. Tony Kgoroge comes to me and says, my brother, allow me to be the president and you be the deputy president so that I can learn from you. And say, no, it doesn't work like that. You don't learn from a subordinate. You learn from somebody who's leading you. That can't be the problem. Then Eugene Mthethwa, Sunday, the meeting that was Sunday, I don't know whether you were there, where they were briefing the interim committee.
People were called, but
briefing the minister. I wasn't called. I wasn't told that there was a meeting.
Remember with me, I wasn't so used to these things where you would caucus. I thought it was going to be a fair thing about who you are, what you know about the industry, more than all these other things that people made the thing look like. And you know, I always say sometimes living in Gauteng is not the best thing because you become less privileged when things like this happen. Because people then would go in as Gauteng and then they get in there, they start saying their own provinces. And you find that Gauteng
it's
sometimes...
It's a problem, this thing of provinces, Arthur. This is what CIFSA has failed to do. We were called based on the sectors and subsectors, if you remember. We then established CIFSA. I was part of the General Council. Never met even once, okay? And then you then establish CIFSA, but you then, instead of establishing CIFSA based on the sectors, you establish CIFSA based on the provinces.
Which for me didn't make sense because CIFSA was supposed to be about sectors.
Yes.
But anyway, it will be a topic for another day.
Okay.
Sports people are happy about Gayton McKenzie, so I hear, right? And you would agree with me?
No. I wouldn't. Federations are dying. They haven't received funding. They haven't, last term, they did not receive funding because he held the funding and he said that no, he wants to find out. I don't know what is it that he wanted to find out. He did whatever that he did. When he came to us, he said, no, the federations have received their money. We proved that that was not true.
Eugene, would you say on record that federations didn't get their money?
I'm telling you. It was, we can go and research on record, Parliament saying, one, SASCOC did not get its funding. We had to intervene, okay? There's a lot. Gayton he's a good person. I won't lie, he's kind-hearted. But he doesn't keep to his word. He promises, but not fulfill the promises. You know that he had said to us, we are going to go. If you remember, I don't know whether you remember this, when we were performing at, what's this theater? Nelson Mandela Theater, with Mom Abigail Kubeka. During the performance of Trumpis, I stopped and I said, I heard that Gayton is here. I called him and and then he came with Deputy Minister. I said, Minister, I know that you are kind. We can't allow Mom Abigail to be queuing with youngsters for auditions to act. Allow Mom Abigail to be performing on stage at her age. She's supposed to be getting her pension and retiring. And if she performs, she doesn't perform because she wants to earn a living, but just for fun. She's supposed to be tutoring children, mentoring, you know. I know you can make this happen. I want us to create a situation, a scenario where she gets her retirement. And being him, he then says, I put him on the spot. He says, no, don't worry, Mama, yeah, we are going to do that. We are going to have a national tour. Okay, with Trumpis, we are going to go national. We never did. That never happened. He promised to me. I'm sitting in the political committee, if I could remind him that You know what? You promised Trumpies that you are going to take it nationally on a tour with Mom Abigail so that we create a retirement for Mom Abigail.
The influencers went to the World Cup. The influencers have got influence. And influencers are happy that they influenced their way to the World Cup.
How were they selected? Do you want to answer on his behalf? How were they selected? Those who are related to him, who are coming from friends, family, who found themselves there. Those who are members of PA, who found themselves there. Those who are from the department responsible for what was happening during the World Cup were left behind. Who was taken? How much did you spend? What informed that budget? He's still coming. Did you see that they were there on the same day with CIFSA? They were supposed to present. They didn't bring the financials. But already they are saying.
So that matter is not closed in Parliament?
No. We told them that we can't have the meeting without any financials. And if they don't have financials, how do they know that they spent 31 million? How do you arrive to a round figure when you don't know the details of what makes that 31 million?
Let me ask you a question. If they say it was 31 million, is it 31 million that was spent by the department directly, or does it include other state organs that they might have also paid to do the work of the World Cup? Or is it that 31 million just coming out of the DSEC?
We don't know.
Or you don't know because
we don't know. They still have to
so
come
it might be more.
And tell us where does that 31, even when they say they were sponsors, they have to declare. As a department, they have to declare. MTN gave us this much. So they must declare. So we are coming back to that. You must watch it because it's going to be flames.
EFF never wants to take positions of power, and you guys are always in parliament, in legislatures, harassing other parties. Why don't you guys want to take center stage?
There are conditions. First and foremost, we hold government accountable because we are an oppositional party to the ruling party. So we have to do that. That's our constitutional obligation.
But you refuse to be
It's not refusing.
GNU.
Don't say we
You
refuse.
refuse to be GPU.
No, it's not refusing. There are conditions. We cannot go to bed with DA. It's clear. It was clear from the beginning. We cannot go to bed with DA. DA doesn't serve the black people, black community. We can tell you. You had me during that committee. I'm asking, what are you doing in Kukulet? What are you doing in Langa? What are you doing in this place? They always talk about areas, white areas. Okay? So why should we go to bed with people who are totally, first and foremost, we are going to have a problem with policies. We speak of expropriation of land without compensation. Who are owning the land in this country?
But you've been in power with the DA.
Where?
In Joburg?
No.
Ekurhuleni?
No.
Tshwane?
No, it's not power.
What is it?
There are moments where we'll agree on certain issues, but we'll never govern with DA. We will never govern with DA. This is the reason, I'm telling you, the main reason for us not to be in GNU. One, it's DA. We have opposing policies. How are we going to govern when they say no expropriation of land without compensation? We are saying expropriation, okay? They are saying this BEE must go. Okay?
But then tell me, would you try and convince me that there are still parties of the left and parties of the right?
Yes.
Who's supposed to be right at the moment?
DA.
And then who's supposed to be left?
Us. ANC. MK. A number of other small parties.
Would you then say ANC is selling out?
Yes, it's sold out. Totally sold out. Why is it not so in Gauteng?
The ANC of the Gauteng is stubborn.
I stubborn. It's about the
Hence, I'm saying
yes.
they stick to what they believe in.
You see, Arthur.
And that's where you are also now ruling with them, because I saw the new MEC of Finance is from the EFF.
Yeah.
That's why you agreed, because...
Yes. Yes. We're very principled. If you can follow, it's only that people hate EFF it's out of jealousy. Let me tell you the honest truth is that when they look at this young person, this is what we do as black people. When they see this young person who's no young person in the world has ever been able to achieve what Julius has achieved. To have a political party that is this big from a young person, to them, it doesn't sit well. The issue of xenophobia, let me make an example. There's no xenophobia in South Africa. It's self-hate. Okay? If I look I'll also ask you a question in the process. If there's xenophobia, why black people don't attack Chinese, Asian people? Why they don't attack Indians? Why don't attack white people who are coming from Europe? Why, if xenophobia, people must go, why only black people? The reason is, when you are black, I see you succeed. You become a mirror that I don't want to see in front of me, because you are making me to realize that I'm a failure. If you can do it, then I am a failure. So I must break this mirror. That's why we are attacking our black people. Because we want to break the mirror that is in front of us so that we don't see our own failures. It can't be that you go to Chinatown or there at Dragon City. The very same Jacinta is buying there at Dragon City. But she says, Maba. Well, I mean, Dragon City, we know Dragon City is Chinese. Go to why is Ngizwe not going to Dragon City? Why is Pagela there? But they can go by pavement. Who's taking your job by selling apples, veggies, the pavement?
So on that one, at least you and the ANC are in agreement.
Yes, we agree because we know where we come from. Nigerian people, you know that in Nigerian people during apartheid, all the public servants of Nigeria, they were deducted from their salary. There was a percentage that was deducted to support our struggle. Today we turn around and say, no, we don't want them. No, we are not saying that people must come in. First and foremost, the issue of foreigners is that foreigners have always been here in this country long before, even during apartheid. You know that. In mines, who was working there? People from Maputo. Okay? That's
why there is Fanagalo.
Yes. My step-granddad was from Malawi. There's been foreigners. The question that needs to be asked and answered, how do these people come through the borders? We've got border gates. How do they come? They don't fly brooms. They come through these border gates because of corruption. Who's corruption? Who's managing the border gates? It is the ruling party. Why hate EFF when the ruling party, you don't hate it? Why you not attacking the ruling party? Now it is the Minister of Home Affairs comes from DA. He then immediately, the first thing that he does, he opens a Home Affairs in Australia. Why in Australia Home Affairs when we have backlog in South Africa? When we have Home Affairs that are so packed day in, day out? Why Australia? Because he wants to facilitate white people who must come to increase the minority to a majority.
Yeah. Okay, point of clarity. Does the EFF say legal or illegal, it's fine?
No. We are saying people must be documented. We are not managing Home Affairs. We are not in government. people must be documented so that people are able to be identified. Borderless Africa, it's fine to have borderless Africa.
As long as people are documented.
Are documented, because then what would then happen, it would be the database would be a universal database that every country would have.
Just like in EU.
Yes, exactly. Why people are not saying anything about EU? Why people are not saying anything about the United States of America? It's United States. Why shouldn't we have United States of Africa?
Can't we start with Zimbabwe?
How?
Why not?
What do you mean start with
Zimbabwe to be united with Zimbabwe and keep on going and growing?
No, the unity must be amongst all African states. That's why we have...
Yeah, but start with Zimbabwe, because how many Zimbabweans are living in South Africa?
African Union. Are you saying that we must then deviate from? But you don't want Zimbabweans. Poor Zimbabweans that are not even, I don't know these jobs that you are saying they are taking, motorbikes, scooter, Uber.
No, you know what's the...
Who's a South African that would want to drive a motorbike, a scooter? They want office jobs. South Africans want office jobs. But they are taking people who are selling in the streets. It's self-hate. It will start somewhere. And again, let me also further say, the African unity is not something new that was started by Julius. Kwame Nkrumah, of the first African country to gain its freedom, Ghana.
Yeah.
Kwame Nkrumah is the one who started the issue of African unity. Gaddafi was there saying African unity. But why you don't hate those?
Why are we failing to be documented though?
Why? It's corruption. You know, this country...
Whose purpose does it serve?
This country people strive through corruption. These people, they pay. Even at Home Affairs, they pay to have these things. There are people, foreigners who have passports, South African passports and IDs, who paid for them. It's our government, it's systems failures that are a problem here. And Madlanga Commission, it's showing it to us, it's laying it bare. We're seeing what has been happening. All the general of generals is in court now. That is...
I want you to break down, I don't know if it's 7 cardinals of the EFF, so that one gets to understand what the EFF stands for.
Let me rather do this, because it will be unfair to just speak generally. Let me contextualize, which is what is actually missing in our sector, with the leadership of our sector in government, with the political parties. This is what has been missing, and I will always say it. When you have policies, let's say, for instance, let's look at the first cardinal pillar of EFF, which is expropriation of land without compensation.
Which is easy to explain.
It says, let's take the land back and give it to the rightful owners. Okay. Further than that, let's expropriate the land that is not utilized according to its purpose. Okay. It's sitting there. When you drive to Free State, you can see those plots. Plots that are just dry. Nothing is happening. And then you see few cows there. And a house somewhere there, very far. Let's expropriate and share this land. Okay? Where we need to expropriate land and for farming, we'll do so. We're not going to take your plot that has your house and then expropriate your house, expropriate your family. No. Expropriate your cows. No. We are saying the land that is not utilized for its purpose. Okay?
With or without compensation?
Without compensation. Because the compensation part of it, we tried to do it. Remember that these lands were stolen. we're supposed to be arresting people for stolen goods. And more stolen goods, we get arrested. Yeah. So let me contextualize it now in our sector. When they say expropriation of land without compensation, I'm saying expropriation of intellectual property without compensation. What am I saying? Arthur recorded so many albums for EMI. EMI still holds the masters. Okay? They must bring back the masters to Arthur, because over a period of years, you've recouped the money that you utilized to record those things. Give it to Arthur so that he can go and trade and look for deals. Okay? Be able to engage on negotiations with other businesses whilst he's still alive. You know that the deed of assignment, okay, when it comes to land, it is title deed. When it comes to the copyright issues, it's
deed of assignment.
Deed of assignment, okay? You know that part of what we signed away as in our deeds of assignment, it is the re-ownership of our works. It only becomes ours 50 years after you're dead.
Yes.
Okay? How can you own something when you are dead? Not even your child will be able to own and do business. By the time it is 50 years, that thing doesn't have any value.
The legacy might have.
The value is gone. Okay? So I'm saying part of this copyright amendment must consider that. Bring back to the real owners and then renegotiate deals. Okay? That's what expropriation for me. Now, in our government and in our political parties, what then becomes amiss is that they cannot see the part of arts and culture in this policy. I'm drawing it from expropriation of land without compensation and then translating it into our sector, that this is what it means. Okay? All right. Nationalization of strategic sectors.
You're going to talk about the banks?
Banks, mining. And what? EFF says, let's nationalize. Because when we nationalize, it means, therefore, we will create jobs, direct jobs, not these piece jobs, isn't why I'm a contractors, because a mine now must contract so-and-so who comes with few people that are temporary, who can be fired anytime because nothing covers them in terms of labor. What if the fear
is that you nationalize and then there's tools down?
Tools down what? No, we're not nationalizing the mines that are existing.
Yes, but I'm talking about...
We're saying...
Or not the existing ones.
No, we are saying government must have its own mine. Government must have its own bank. Government must... and compete with the ones that are currently. So that, because one of the things that you are not aware, maybe you are not aware, for instance, previously, we used to have a system that says a Boer, an African will be your supervisor. In Foromani, and then Foromani is somebody who's not educated. Then under him, it's black people who are educated. For them, Foromani, there's supervisor to learn from the educated black people. Once he knows the job, he fires the educated one and brings the uneducated ones, who will then show allegiance to the Makulubas, because Makulubas is teaching them jobs, giving them jobs and teaching them how to do their jobs. So they can't betray Makulubas because it's. But what was not acknowledged is that the black educated ones were exploited, were used to teach this one, and this one was given even more salary. Now it's a different ballgame. Previously, you had Afrikaners in the police and army, okay? You knew that Mapoisa, the Maburu, ne? Now the new politics of looking after white people, it is through banks. Through banks, debt collectors, most of the debt collectors are Afrikaners. Afrikaners owned companies. And banks are giving them the work. Even companies, they're giving them that debt register, buying it. They say they are buying it. And in that debt register, it's black people mostly. Go to a credit bureau, you'll find that most black people, it is mostly black people who are blacklisted, okay? Because the economy must be kept for white people. The banks will provide loans for white people, will provide bonds for white people. When you come as a black person, you struggle. When you come, you're looking for money to start a business with the banks, it's difficult to get that. Now, if we are nationalizing, EFF says the government bank will be able to look after the black people because they have been isolated from the economy in that fashion. It's a silent one, very subtle. You will get calls to say, hey, we are blacklisted, we can help you to remove, or debt review. You don't know what debt review is, and then by talking to them, you find yourself there, you are now listed as under debt review. To get you out of that, they are the ones, they're not going to talk to the banks to say, allow this person to pay this much. They're now going to call you and say, to get you out of debt review, you must pay us, you can pay us 6,000, we can help you to. It's black people who have been suppressed post-1994. It is now the financial suppression. Black people are isolated from access to finance.
Let's wrap the other cardinals a bit faster.
Another cardinal, it talks about investing in Africa, the issue of foreign. We know that if South Africa becomes the powerhouse financially, economically, we will have more people coming. Now, if we invest outside, we're retaining people in their own countries, but also sending South Africans to these countries to go and work because we have invested there. That's the whole idea. We are not saying that people must come here undocumented. We are not saying people must come and find ways, smart ways to come and come. That statement, they are using that statement that President said when it was COVID, when people were sent away to say that they are not being allowed to come back. He said, find creative ways to come back. That's what's about that. Not that generally you must find, okay?
So that cardinal would be destroyed if South Africa was to continue in this trajectory of
sending people away.
Yes.
But who is South Africa going to trade with? A country that can be regarded as country with wealth. It is a country that exports goods and services and not importing, exports goods and services. Where are we going to export our goods and services? Are we going to trade with ourselves? You see the danger that we are putting ourselves in? Okay. Soon, the USA will join and say we don't want anything from South Africa and others. You know, once the USA joins, the EU will join.
I think they've already said that.
You see?
About trading with South Africa.
Now, if that happens, where are we going to run away to as South Africans seeking asylum? Where are we going to? If they bomb South Africa, where are we going to run to?
Let's go to another one.
Now, with arts and culture, I think there's a lot that is happening. You know that EFF has been one political organization. You remember during COVID, we were fighting for crumbs that were falling from the master's table, the relief funds. EFF, public servants of EFF, where there was amount deducted from them.
I remember. To
pay artists who were members of EFF, who had joined EFF when it was not fashionable. Mandlas and them, Speakery and Bo Alaska, they were getting...
Fifi Cooper.
Yeah, 15,000 rands a month. When we you saw, I was in the newspaper that Eugene Mthethwa said that he funded me. You know how much I got? 10,000. How
Oh,
much
yes,
did you
I
get?
remember that 10,000.
How much did you
yes.
get?
I think 10 or 20, I can't remember. I think it was
got
10.
More. You got more than
Yes,
me.
I think it was 20.
Yeah. So there was no criteria. It was just pick and choose and whoever, you see. So that's some of the things that I was so angry about with him, that he betrayed me as his not his own brother, but to say, I was having so much, when you are betrayed and disappointed by somebody that you had so much high hopes, it becomes so bad than being failed by somebody that you didn't expect anything from him. Yeah. There's a lot that I can say EFF is doing. One of the things that you would see, when you go to NC events, there's a formal program. And as soon when the formal program finishes, they call us and say, in other words, ours is an unofficial. Okay? Yeah. And then we are going to gyrate then dance. They leave stage one by one. By the time you get to the dead song, there's nobody on stage. You've noticed that. Go and check with EFF.
I know.
I've spoken against that thing, and EFF, you'll see EFF
They
leadership.
sit there till...
I even dance, join and dance, okay? Those are the things, some of the things that I'm able to influence. One of the things that I'm hoping that is going to go through, it is EFF is going to do this. We've got over 1 million members. Tell me, Arthur, some of these things we can even do. Got over 1 million members. We decide, okay, this month, the artist of the month or artist of the quarter is Arthur Mafokate. Then Julius announces, CIC announces that every member of EFF must stream, download, visit social medias of this artist. By end of the month or the quarter, wouldn't that person be over 1 million? Simple.
Strange, eh? I never thought about that.
This is what it translates to. Economic freedom in our lifetime.
Yes.
It doesn't talk to other sectors. Now I'm translating it to our sector. We cannot preach economic freedom in our lifetime when our sector, we can't make millionaires in our sector. We can make our millionaires in our sector. If CIC says all the members should do this, they will do it. They will do it because everybody is sitting on TikTok, is sitting on YouTube for nothing. But if we decide that we are doing it intentionally, every month and we will have 1 million, somebody becoming 1 million views, your podcast becoming over 1 million every month. That's economic
freedom. Tell me about
freedom.
the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, see, I'm glad. Hey, the cardinals must wait now. CIC praised one of the podcasts, and now there's a problem with the podcast. You gave them power to be free. Now you want to limit them.
How do we limit them? Everyone has his own views, to express his own views. I could be saying today, Arthur is a good person. Arthur this, Arthur that.
Oh yeah.
10 years later,
you can change your mind.
Arthur, I didn't know that Arthur is capable of doing this. Yo, I'm so disappointed.
Oh yeah.
Okay? That's the right of everybody. But again, Arthur, you would agree, you would remember, we had Shwash. Have you ever heard of a white artist dying in South Africa poor? Have you ever heard of a white artist being involved in drugs and illicit or immoral activities?
Not that I can think
For
of.
the fact that you're thinking so deep about it. Have you ever heard of a white artist who's HIV positive? Where do white artists go before the Metro FM Awards and Summer Awards and disappear too after the summer. You see them during Metro FM, you see them during summer awards. Right? You even get shocked that, there are so many white artists.
Yeah.
Who are these? Okay. When it comes to song of the, let me say, the best award in both summer and
But
Metro.
don't run away from the podcast.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming. When it comes to the best award in the summers or Metro, which one would you say is the most valuable award?
Which one and which one?
The summer and the Metro FM.
Yo,
Which one would you say? No,
the one that's supposed to be the best, supposed to be the summers?
the award, the actual award. There are categories of awards. Okay, the best singer, the best artist, the best what? Which one would you say if you get this award? Yeah, it's the most valuable one.
For me, I would see the song of the year
As the best
as
award.
the first thing that would open gates to your livelihood, your career, your future, your everything. And I would talk from an experience that I never won an award that was judged by 5 people like what's happening currently. I won an award that was voted for by the public.
Yeah.
And I went on and on and on since that award.
Yeah.
You know I won that award, it was 97.
Mahasmane versus Oi Oi.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see. And up to this day, I still feel that that award made me who I am.
Okay. It's the second best.
Okay.
The best award
Is your category?
in the categories that you can think of. It is the most selling
Yeah.
award.
Yeah.
The record.
The best selling, yes.
The best selling album. Because it means that you are making money. Okay? You are making money. You've got followers. You are making money. Okay? In your own memory, which genre of music has been winning the best selling albums?
At some point it was gospel. It would be gospel, dance music, but also Africans music sales, guys. Yo,
Africans music was.
yo, they're the minority, but they buy. Yo,
Why?
yo,
Explain the economics around that.
yo.
You
Hey,
see,
they buy. Yo.
They are minority, but they outsell the popular music. They don't have so many stations. They don't have so many TV programs. Cake Noit. That's what they have.
And radio,
Yeah.
Gerson,
Son
RSG,
what-
Sonar.
yes.
Yes.
But we have Metro FM, Kokosi FM, but we don't outsell them. Okay. Because there's a clear system in place that looks after white artists. Okay? White artists, they get funded by the same record companies. Get funded, they are given CDs to go and sell and come and pay the company. They are given sound systems to be able to go. They are booked by restaurants to perform, and then they sell. In an Afrikaner family, they buy 5 CDs to be signed. They come from the same house, they buy 5 to be signed by the artist. Okay, we don't do that. We don't support each other. That's the problem that we need to change. Now, coming to your question
About the podcast.
about the podcast. You have Shwashwi that targets black people. You work so hard to make your name. When you're up there, they use you to make money and pull you down. Okay. Why, as black people, podcast, does it call white people who are doing certain things? Do you hear about
Okay,
white
let me
people?
ask a question. Okay. Julius did praise McG, right?
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
I remember at a big rally. And then McG has been consistent in doing what you are saying, sort of criticizing
Black
other
people.
black
Black
artists,
people,
right?
yeah.
Why was it not seen till it hit the CIC? That's question number 1. right?
Yeah.
Question number 2. CIC says that podcast has been bought, right?
Yeah.
By a political party. Right? Whether is it true or not.
Yeah.
Question 3. Is it true that YFM, for example, was at some point criticized that way? And if it's true, which party was behind what was the accusation? Right?
Yeah.
Number 4 would be, what makes CIC believe that McG might be bought? And what's the importance of political parties in targeting youth-followed platforms?
One of the
You
things
can mix the answers. You don't have to,
What-
but
what-
you understand what I'm trying to
No,
get to.
I do.
Yes.
I cannot say why is CIC saying whatever he's saying. Because he's got his own mind, he's got
And
his
he
own
researches.
background. Okay? Huh?
And he researches as well.
Yes, he's a political leader who must always be vigilant.
Yeah, his ear is always on the ground.
Remember, EFF is drawing. Who is EFF drawing a lot these days than any other party? It's the youth. Okay? You have youth in universities subscribing to EFF. Smart young people who are the future. It worries other
And
political
EFF is leading in most of,
Yes, all these institutions.
yes.
Yes.
Most of them are led by the EFF.
Yeah. So if a political party has got that power to attract youth, what best platform you can use to fight it? It's the one that is followed by the youth. Number one, that is followed by the youth.
But don't you think by hitting that, you also might stand a chance to lose the youth, because now they have the youth, you have the youth, and then you are fighting against each other?
No, we're alerting the young people. We're politicizing young minds. What has been a problem with our country is that our country post-1994, young people became apolitical. Okay? We were made to believe that no, politics now, it's over. There's no way that politics will be
But
over.
what happens to somebody like me who loves CIC, who loves McG at the same time? What do I do in this regard?
What do you do when you love Amas from Clover and not Amas from, what do you do? When you go and buy your groceries at Pick and Pay and not go and buy groceries at Spar and what do you do? It's a choice. It's a choice. It is also up to you to analyze and understand things. We are just alerting people to say, we'll highlight something. It is up to you to go and scrutinize. So that's what we are encouraging young people to be very, very vigilant and scrutinize certain things. One of the things that have happened now more with Mabahambe, okay, you know what's the politics behind that? And you will understand why the people who were on March are living large. It's not about foreigners, it's about the Spazas. The Spazas are disrupting the Pick and Pays and the Spars and that. Okay? Now, to then swiftly kill the Spazas, they sponsored. There are big companies behind this March thing. That's why this person who's on lead of now living large, where does she get the money to buy the things that she's buying? Okay? So we can't be naive. We are a political party. We can't just analyze things like ordinary people and say, oh, okay. They are just angry. People are just angry. No. These are sponsored. There was why Julius has been targeted for with criminal charges. There was a message at the Oval Office. Why are you not arresting this young man? So people are really, really gunning for him. Who is behind that? We don't know. We won't say who's behind. We don't know who's behind. But there was a message at the Oval Office. Why are you not arresting this man who is killing Afrikaners? You know that's not true. White people are not being killed in South Africa. There's no genocide of white people. But that message was sending a message to whoever aligns himself with United States, with Israel, with whichever countries out there that is, and especially South Africa having taken Israel to court, the international court. That can't be okay. So they must disrupt. Any leader who speaks on behalf of black people, who's trying to raise black people from their sleeping, is always targeted, is always removed by the international. Let me tell you something that will shock you. But I'm not going to mention the artist's name. Or I'm not going to mention some of the things that might lead to your podcast being shut down.
Will they succeed?
Huh?
Will they succeed?
Yes.
I don't think so.
They have power in terms of IT, in terms of technology. They are very powerful. That country is very powerful. Go and watch the video of Jay-Z and Beyonce that has Wembube, Weme, la, Wembube, ne? Wemawe, Wemawe. There's a story behind that video. That's my assessment. When that video starts, Beyonce and an African child, they're sleeping on this bed, and then they're blindfolded. And then Beyonce gets up and then removes the blindfolds. But the African child remains with the blindfold. Okay? Go and look for Jay-Z where he's wearing those basketball vests or t-shirts or what. You'll never find it now on internet. He's always in suits. Okay? Now, there's a new scramble. Previously, it was the scramble for the natural resources. Now, the new scramble is for cultural services and cultural products or culture.
Culture has got value now.
Yeah, it's the new gold. That's why it's called New Mzansi Golden Economy. It's not by default. Mzansi Golden Economy. This is where now United States is going to go towards. The reason why the little child, the young African child, remains blindfolded, it says Africa is sleeping. America is rising. That's why Beyonce takes off the blindfolds to depict that picture. They are coming for our culture. The discoveries that happened during that time, Abu Jan van Riebeeck, is now coming. The discoveries of the Paul Simon Grace land, they were coming to grace in our land and discovered the rapiaries and the bagitis and them, who were already being popular. Mapiano, they are going to take over Mapiano. Watch the space. Did you see that they are dancing already? Yeah. They were going to discover Mapiano. So we are sleeping. One of the things that we have failed to do is, for instance, Gallo had so much archives of our music. It carried history of our South African music. The Mahlatinis, the Ladysmith, the what. Yeah? Master tapes were there downtown. It was bought by who? Warner Brothers.
Is Black Coffee not a partner as well? Or that's not?
He's not even political minded, so he doesn't know.
So I'm not even sure. I just heard, I'm not too sure.
No, he might be having that business, but he's not in control of what would happen.
Also, it was Warner.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Now, we were supposed to take that content, okay, digitalize it, make samples that we're going to export and sell. You would know when you go into the samplers in the studio when you record and you're looking for samples of African voices. You remember that DVD? Or was it DVD? Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Hum. Americans singing hum and saying African voices. Now they have the real African voices. They are going to bring these things, these samples to us. We are going to buy them from them. The Mahlatini's voices, the Ladysmith Mambazo's voices, we are going to buy them because we failed to monetize and commercialize those as our gold. Ladysmith Mambazo is made, Chabalala has made doctor to lecture without education, to lecture at Berkeley. You know Berkeley, the United States School of Music. Bab Shabalala was a lecturer, and he was called what? Doctor.
Yes.
But we
don't recognize him.
We don't recognize. Philip Taban, we didn't recognize him. A number of them, we didn't. So I'm saying, watch the space. You can't be thinking like this if you are not really going deep into understanding the political space. You need to understand and analyze. It's part of being a politician. You look at strategies, tactics that you can, and you analyze the environment. But when you're sleeping and following, you will follow. You will follow. Abo, and Microsoft will lead us forever until Jesus comes. Because we're not being innovative. We are now faced with the challenge of AI. Okay? So, it needs...
What do you think of AI?
Huh? AI can be utilized. There's nothing wrong with AI, but it needs to be utilized correctly, but also it needs us to regulate it, to have regulations around it, because it can be very abusive.
What first regulation would you put in place?
For AI? Hey, I haven't thought of it, bro.
But you want it?
Yeah, I'm actually going through some writing, some researching about it, how it works, because you know that you don't earn royalties from AI song.
I don't know that.
You're not given copyright on that.
How's that?
It's not regulated.
That's
It's not.
senseless.
In fact, we always follow what is standardized by the world. One of the things that I would make an example with is, you know that when it comes to copyright, it is a privilege. Okay? No longer a right. The one who commissions it
Why
owns,
is it now a privilege, no more right?
the one who commissions it owns it.
Okay.
What does it mean? The one who's got money to commission you, it's a privilege to own, has a privilege to own. Okay?
Break it down.
The one who has money to commission your mind to create something owns it.
Oh yes, I understand what you say now.
Understand? So it becomes a privilege.
Because I paid for it.
Yes, I paid. SAPC owns Generations, not Mfundi Mvundla. Okay? So what are we talking about? When we say rights, whose rights? Can you go to court as an artist and go and say, so-and-so is pirating my music?
Makate did it.
Who?
Makate.
It's only artists who own their product.
No, I'm talking about the Please Call Me guy.
Okay. No, that's different. I'm talking about music where you are signed at a company, at a record company. Record company pays for the recording, pays. You are an artist. Do you own? No. That's why you can't go to court and have a legal stand.
Why should you own if you didn't pay?
Huh?
Why should you own if you didn't pay?
No, but if we want to be fair, it should be a percentage that I
What
should
about
be.
the payer?
You see now what it then prioritizes. It is the value, monetary value, than the intrinsic nature of the music. The time that I have contributed to be in the studio, not just my talent, the time that I've contributed to be in the studio.
And the time that I paid for you to be in the studio.
Yeah, but what about my time? You're not
What
paying for
about
my
my
time.
money?
Your money, you must get your percentage,
Oh,
but
yes.
also the
Okay.
artist must get a
Okay, I
percentage.
thought you saying
because
one. Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
no. It must be both shared.
Yes,
Yes.
that's why it's supposed to be negotiated. Okay. You pay for my time. You don't, when you employ somebody to come and work in your company, you pay for their time and work. But when you employ the artist to do the work, you don't pay for his time. You give him royalties on the sales.
Eugene, how do you juggle between Trumpis and EFF?
Very easy. EFF knows that the first love is Trumpis. They identified me, they recognized me because of Trumpis. And Trumpis can't die. Can't die.
But Trumpis is more busier than you can imagine now lately. When do you find time to be yourself and still do political work?
I've always juggled. I went to school whilst I was performing and I was being laughed when I was doing my assignments on the road. If there was something that they were saying, jokes was saying something. I think even when I can't say, can I say it?
Say whatever.
On
It's
the
a podcast, yeah.
That's when jokes. When mangivukelwa ngibeka laptop phezulu assignment.
So all the time.
The way concentrate on it. I used to do assignments
That's
on
why
the road.
remember I said you used to write.
Yeah,
You've always been writing.
yeah, but I'm saying the assignments. I used to do assignments on the road when we were going to the shows. Okay, I was juggling. Hannah, the family, I'm still there. You know, there's EFF. You can see I'm always there, out there with EFF. I do groundwork, go and knock, do the door-to-door, like any other member, because I'm also an ordinary member. I'm not a better member than others. I pay 10 rands like every other member to become a member. EFF.
EFF has dubbed 2026 the year of victory or death. Why such a statement?
It's a motto to say that we need to really work hard, because it doesn't tally that we can fill FNB Stadium and then we don't get votes. How?
They say you lost vote because of not supporting Mabahambe. That's what the people out there are saying.
There's that part. I agree, there's that part, but it doesn't make sense.
You filled FNP,
We've got
but
members.
you lost votes. You lost votes after.
But we've got members, over 1 million members.
Yes,
Where
but
are
you
these
lost
members?
the votes after.
Where are these members when we vote?
They say they got angry because...
Our own members
Yes.
got angry.
Yes. They say.
No, they say, it's a hearsay, that thing. That thing, why did that screen go blank in the middle? Why did that screen go blank in the middle of elections? Who has explained what happened?
President Jacob Zuma has asked the question.
Yes.
Do we have an answer?
We can't. Unfortunately, we can't go and fight that thing because it's going to cost us so much money. But I'm telling you...
So the issue is that screen going black during the counting.
Don't undermine...
I was there.
And don't undermine...
The technology.
The international world participation and concern about what is happening in our country.
Do you see people saying, if you don't make it in the local elections, if you lose more votes, do you see people saying it's because of podcast and chill?
I know. I don't think that thing should hold water because, you know, the issue of the podcast, I'm one person who appreciates when I see a black person rise, regardless of who it is, or whether you are my friend or my enemy, as long as it's a black person that rises, for me, I have no qualm whatsoever. But I've got a problem with, as I did even raise it with the media generally. If you remember, at some point I said that we should understand that journalists are not doing what they are doing. The Shwashi guys are not doing what they are doing out of
Love.
no,
Passion.
the purpose to destroy. But they are like insects who have to suck the blood in order to
Survive.
Yeah. Hey, I caused myself a serious problem with that statement. It was during Mandela when we went to see Mandela for luncheon.
Was it at Monte Casino?
Gold Reef City.
Gold Reef. We went to Gold Reef, no?
Yeah, it was Gold Reef City.
Why did it? I'm glad you reminded me. I kept on saying it was a beautiful place like a casino, but I forgot that it was okay.
Gold Reef City. I
Yes.
said that during that. Yay. Hey, they came for me. I became a project for them.
I've always been a project of such things.
Yeah, so
They actually sometimes transform you into another level.
yes, they teach you. I mean, I developed a crocodile skin after that situation. If you remember, one of the things that your friend likes to raise, that I killed somebody at Soweto, that story nearly broke me. When it came, first time when it came, and they were saying Kwaito killer still haunted by the past, it was a billboard on N1. I literally stopped in the middle of the road and reversed and forgot that there are cars that could be coming. I nearly died.
Eugene.
I could have died that day. That's how impactful that story. I mean, I see my face on the billboard. I'm driving around 7 p.m. coming from Wales. I'm going to see my parents in Pretoria. And here's the billboard saying, Kwaito killer, with my sporty. I remember the blue sporty. Kwaito killer still haunted by the past. I stopped at that. Immediately I reversed. Totally forgot that I was on the road and there could have been a truck, a bus, what that came behind me. After reading that, I turned back, went back to my rest. I stayed for almost a month without going out.
What?
Yes, Malcolm X was the one who was bringing me food in the restaurant. And he took me one day, he said, no, this can't be. Let's go out, because the more you're hiding yourself is the more you are prolonging
Yeah,
this
because
thing.
sometimes, bad publicity is meant to take you out.
Yeah.
And you decide whether you're going to survive that period or you're going to be taken out. And I'm sure those are the words he said.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
bad publicity can be another form of
Can be
finishing you
good.
off. Yeah, and
For
sometimes
Can be good. Can be good for your business.
I'm not going to comment. We spoke about, the last one was the arts and culture one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
We spoke about the cardinal that speaks about foreign.
Yeah.
We spoke about the land one. We spoke about the national
The fourth
resources.
one is the free education.
Yes,
It's simple.
it's simple.
Free education. Why should children pay for education in our country? Yet we're saying that education is
Is it
a
still
right.
necessary even up to this day?
Yes, it is necessary that children, if I like this analogy that CIC normally do. He says, you have prisoners who get free food, free uniform, accommodation.
But you have
But you
kids that are
can't-
paying.
You can't pay for the kids to go to
Wow.
school. You see, some of the things, honestly.
How much is it to find for one prisoner per day?
Hey, I don't know. You must Google that one. I don't know. I've never actually
Okay,
calculated.
I know, but I wanted the answer to come from a politician. Let's continue.
You know that I'm focusing too much on my sector.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the fifth one is about massive protection on industrialization, our own industries. It's a political theory that even United States, it protects its industries. You can't be manufacturing T-shirts that you can manufacture in South Africa, manufacturing them in China. Okay? you are allowing people who are companies that are coming from outside to come and compete with companies of South Africans.
Can we deal with honesty now?
Yeah.
Is there a political party in South Africa that
Doesn't
buys
use
T-shirts that are manufactured in South Africa?
Do you know the industry? No, hey, wait. The mercantile industry. What has happened to that industry? It has died. Now, how can you have things manufactured in South Africa when you have allowed that industry to die?
Hence, I said the EFF is mad. You never want to be in power because there's just too many wrong things you don't want to be blamed.
But we want to correct them when we are
Before
in power.
you are
When we are in power, we'll have the power to correct.
Okay.
This is the statement I'll repeat again. I did the other time. I said, those with power don't know what to do with power. They don't have ideas. And those with ideas have got no power. But it is amazing how, as Africans, we affirm those with no ideas into power.
So my answer would be there's no political party that wears T-shirts that are locally produced.
Well, no, unfortunately, everybody is doing, in fact, globally, the whole world, even your Louis Vuitton are made in China. But the difference with what happens with that is that China does 3 types of productions. They do quality, okay? They do the middle class quality, and they do cheap, cheap, cheap. When you go into a Chinese store, they'll tell you, no, that's cheap, 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 cheap. Because they're serving all kinds of...
So the consolation for political parties would be that they buy cheap, 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 cheap.
Well, I don't know if they buy cheap, 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 because the Chinese are able to deliver. You are concerned about what? Deliver. Here in this country, we are facing a problem with service delivery. Now, if you were to, which company can you give here in South Africa and give to print you 10 million T-shirts? No one. Okay? So you'll end up doing so because you are forced by the situation. But if EFF goes into power, it will change that situation. Okay? What Traore is doing in his country, look at this young man who took power by force.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing.
Yeah.
You see? Don't we want to see that? We want to see that. We want to see that. We want government to be able to create jobs and not renege on the responsibility to create jobs and expect the private what is it called? Private sector to create jobs. There's no jobs. There are no jobs that will be created by private sector because private sector is concerned about profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And South Africans, so that's why even the private sector is guilty of employing these foreigners. But you're not fighting them. You are not going to spare and say, why are you having this? You go and sit there and eat the ribs that are
And get the service, the best service.
And you know, and they are humble. To get South Africa, I don't know where I was. I really realized that, South Africans will. I don't know which restaurant. There was a South African that was serving. Yeah, I felt it, man.
Yeah.
I felt it. I think, says, oh, no, not a restaurant. Good hill.
Yeah.
She says, I'm buying. She says that I must take my grocery and put them in the place. I say, I'm telling you, but South Africans, they speak like that, They're so entitled. So
tell me, are we done with the Cardinals or did I miss out on one? I feel like I missed out on one.
Which one that you
I don't know, the last one maybe. I would. If we are done, it's fine.
Well, it's things that we know, the issue of health.
Health. We didn't talk about health.
The clinics, we want clinics that will be 24 open
24
for 24
hours.
hours.
Yes, you guys spoke about clinics 24 hours, and I love the idea. I still think it's one of the best ideas, because if I get sick at night,
I'm
prone to even die.
Yes, yes. That's what we're going for. We believe that health, medical attention is a right.
And then local elections are around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
What are you aiming to achieve as the EFF?
We're aiming to achieve victory.
Yeah, no, I took this thing because I saw the 2026 local government elections manifesto focuses on the following key areas. They say A, which would be 1, the state of local government in South Africa today. 2, 10 years of the EFF in local government. Oh, these are just what you're focusing on. Number 3, EFF commitments for local government. That's what I was asking about.
Page 14. It's on page 14. The commitments are on page 14.
Yeah. So you know this thing inside out. Oh yes, here they are. Yo.
You have to know these things. You know. The Bible says our people perish because of lack of knowledge, and it's so true.
I think we need to come again and discuss. Yeah, because you know I'm excited. I'm probably feeling so honored. No one gets to talk to you. The only time we see somebody talk to Eugene is when there's an issue about the creative and cultural industries on national TV, and they would give you 5 minutes and not even allow you to talk.
Yeah.
So I feel privileged. I feel like I was being mentored for the last 3 hours.
Well, it is the goodness of the podcast, because the podcast is undisrupted, but it's a disruptor. It's
unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
But you get angry when they are unfiltered.
Who?
Nikwatile ni.
Ubani?
Nini?
Ngithemba nabangibizile into engikwatisile mina is the Phil. Who's Phil what? Phil, I forgot the surname.
Yeah.
Who was very loud. This young man was very loud. You can see that he's agitated, but he's an empty tin that makes the loud noise. That's what.
Where was he?
Know. I think he's associated with the podcast. He was talking about what EFF has done for artists and all that. And I said, no, invite me on your podcast.
Did he invite you?
No, they won't invite me. They want mediocrity. They won't. They know that I will answer them, because there's a lot that is happening. First and foremost, he's not an artist. He doesn't know the struggles, our struggles. Okay, he doesn't know. He talks about copyright. If I would ask him what is wrong with copyright amendment bill or performance amendment bill, he's not going to be able to answer me. But he's making so much noise, so much noise.
What would you do to help these youngsters that are losing track because of fame?
Hey, that thing, man. That thing it's problematic, because people just pick up. They wake up in the morning and they are record companies, they are artists. And then luckily, because of that one song you make a hit, and then you think that you have arrived. They often say these songs also, they follow up with, yes, but what you would agree with, they enter the industry without knowledge, okay? They enter the industry thinking that it's a quick way out of being subjected to school. It's a microwave success.
And
but when they are inside, that's when they realize. I can tell you now that most of these guys, the new guys, they know nothing about copyright. Their songs are not copyrighted, probably. If you can go there and harvest all of them and own them, they'll realize later that, yes, all these years.
But fame can be destructive. And then advice to...
They must but educate themselves, because, you wouldn't, I often say that you wouldn't allow a doctor who didn't go to school to touch you. But we allow people who there must be something, some standards that that's what I wanted Samik to do, if you remember,
Yes.
a bureau of standards that we should.
There's a lot of ideas that you came up with that were not noticed, and I hope one day they get noticed. And then advice to us, podcasters.
You can't destroy people in order to make yourself, to build yourself. Don't build by destroying. There's this country, one of the things I talked about, United States, that it protects its image. One of the things that, and I don't have any problem when people talk anyhow, but be sensitive. You know, one of the things that some of this media does, you would know it. They are not concerned about how our children or our families would react.
Families under general.
Okay. I used to wake up at 3 a.m. to go and buy a newspaper because I want to read if I'm not there so that I can alert my wife and my children that earlier before then. Because what if I don't know what has come out of the news and they get to know? Then I find my wife having committed suicide.
Or fainted at a shop.
So one of the things that the podcasters should do should strive to build. I know it's difficult where you are promised millions of rands to destroy.
But wouldn't you also say, oh, you just mentioned paid money to destroy?
Yeah. Yeah. You should know better what the big record companies, what they used to do with...
Yeah. I always say those theories here. Yeah. Whenever I talk here, I always say sometimes they
will
go
pay
for you and
to silence your song.
Yes.
Okay. If your song is popular, they will pay to silence it. It's something that is happening. Something that is happening. That's why I was saying, why would they target McG when EFF is gaining more ground with young people?
Would you want to caution them because CIC is not one of the easiest people to take on?
No, I wouldn't want to speak on behalf of what CIC can do and say I want them. But one thing I know about CIC, CIC is smart, is deep. CIC monitors so many things. I don't even know where he gets time to monitor these things. He monitors even us. And you think that, I'm sure he doesn't see, he's very busy, doesn't see. He would tell you one day. So for me, I would just say to generally black people, let us learn. The reason why I'm saying this is because you don't see any white media attacking white people. You don't see any white trash against white artists or white people. Why? Why? I asked that question and I said, nobody has ever answered me with those line of questions that why is it only pure music that is outselling us? What is the economy? Explain the economy around that. Nobody has been able to answer those questions. White people, they support each other. Indians, they work around. Their money rotates around them. It is only us that were cursed. I don't know what happened. Maybe we follow after Lucifer, who was dethroned from heaven because of his pride. That's why he's black and angels are white. So we must be black. The black color. I'm not black. I'm even browner than black. Black and brown. Maybe that's why we are being associated with this blackness, and we really follow this because of our mental slavery.
One last question.
Yeah.
And I've asked you this many years ago. Kalawa Jasmine. Kalawa Records combines with Trompis. And then Jasmine, Ja is Jaros. Z is Zain, which is Mahuta. M is Mandla. I don't know which E is Eugene there. And there's Emmanuel. But somehow you didn't become a shareholder. You decided to be on your own.
Susipolitiki manje.
I get you're a politician.
I actually came up with that name.
Beautiful name.
I came up with the name when we were, if you go to the album, yeah, Trumpis as Kiangengo,
Yeah.
you'll see just me is there as a publishing company. At Galo, they wanted a publishing company. So the top of my head, I just said, okay, just me.
Yes.
Publishing.
Hence I said Kalawa Records fusing with Jasmine to create Kalawa Jasmine.
Yes.
But this man, this individual, this other E is not a shareholder.
No longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he left very early.
Yes, because I had my own reasons. One of the things that happened is that I felt that the reason for us to come up with a record company of black people, looking around the Motowns of this world, some of the things that I was saying, with white companies, you would always have middlemen. That producer or the talent scout says, Umlung ut, ubas ut. So there was that
kind of arrangement.
Yeah, you can't see the boss. We didn't even know who Gallo is until he died. Never had met him. But I've been with that company. I had been with that company for years. Now, I thought as a black company, we'll be able to, allow artists to meet with us, allow artists to speak the language that they understand better, to be progressive as a record company and treat people differently. But what I realized was happening, it was something that I wasn't okay with. It didn't gel with me. And then, secondly, I was asked to leave the company because somehow, I think there was a situation where they looked at the ratio, that there was 5 of us, just me, and this side there was Katsaitis, Don, and
Kalawa was Katsaitis, Laka, and
Mdlongwa. Yes, you know it. 3. So I think they had to
8
find
partners.
a way. They had to find a way to remove the 2 of us so that it remains 3-3. But
which 2?
Jaros and
oh yes, Jaros is also not a partner.
Yeah. So I was anyway no longer okay to be there. But I didn't want to cause a stir because it would have affected so many careers of other artists had I done that. But yeah, I was there. When we started, we contributed even monetary to start that company. But yeah, because of those personal reasons that I kept, I said,
so you were asked to leave?
Yes.
Is it not because you talk too much?
I think we did not see same values that I had. I'm a principled person. When something is not right for me. So I can tell you a number of things that I felt they were not maybe the reason why even today. I mean, you know that Trumpis never had a contract with Kalau. Okay? Now you have Trumpis that must sign an agreement with Kalawa, and part of the Trumpis are directors at Kalawa, so they must negotiate with themselves. How? So some of the things they did not do business sense. They were supposed to say, okay, you guys, because the 2 of you are not directors, you are the ones who would have more prerogative to say, this is what you want, so that we are fair with the artists. But artists, that's why many artists, I think they left Kalawa because of such, which was very unfortunate. And then part of things that also made me very angry, but internalized it, was that they did not value. If you would remember, when Kalawa was fairly new, if there's somebody who has died, I would be the one who would be speaking on behalf of Kalawa, remember?
And you'd write notes and...
Hey, boss. Hey, Nokare ke nna undertaker
Mfundisi.
Mfundisi said Kalau. And then I used to be driving trompies in my bus to the shows. I'm the first one to take them, collect them in the morning, to leave my house in the morning. I'm the last one to come back into my house after dropping them. Pick them up, go and perform, go on stage. After stage, drive, go to another show, perform, get off the stage, drive, go to another show, third show. So they did not value that. Till today, nobody has ever said, thank you, Eugene, for so many years you drove us. You've never had an accident, not a single
I'm
accident.
sure Mandla is going to do it soon.
I wonder.
Any regrets about leaving though? Don't you ever regret about not
No, I don't. I don't. They did a very sterling work, but I think if I was there, I would have not let Kalawa to reach a ceiling. You know, one of the, I told you some of the ideas that I had that, you know, a consortium of all these independent companies.
We missed an opportunity, guys.
Opportunity, boss. You know?
You know, I sometimes sit and say, but we were stupid.
No. When we had so much power. There was so much power there.
And why did Mahuta leave?
What?
Trumpis.
No, Mahuta didn't leave Trumpis, but
He's not performing.
It became, I think, you know,
because
he
of the
can't
DJing.
dance, he can't dance, but besides,
I'm going to tell him.
besides that, we felt it was unfair for us whilst we're waiting for shows. Then we prevent him from taking shows, and by the time we get a show for Trumpis, he's already booked somewhere. Yeah. He's very busy.
Too
you know
much.
that. Very busy.
No.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eugene. I really appreciate.
Hey. Yeah, the head office. Let's say
any last words?
My last words would be say, there's hope. I wish people could really, really be honest and give themselves time to understand the policies of EFF. I joined EFF. It was very, let me tell you something very, I've never told anybody this again. It took me 4 years to join EFF.
You've been considering it, no?
I was
and you've been threatening, if I remember quite well. You kept on saying, I'm going to leave the NC.
One day I leave the NC. I wasn't saying where I would be going. Yeah. The reason why it took me that much, I was worried that I was saying, no, but this EFF, that's going to be carried out of, I'm not going to be part of that being carried out of parliament because we were so rebellious, we were so radical. Okay, that's not me. Me is intellectual debates correctly. I don't fight with people. I don't have that aggressive approach. So it made only when I had CIC saying, and now we are going to approach things with superior logic. And I said, yes,
I'm going.
Now I'm in because now they're talking my language. I want us to debate issue. Please convince me with facts. If you don't have facts, you know me. I don't take stories. I don't take a loose from anybody. If you don't have facts, I forget it. Forget it. So that's what happened for me to go to. But besides that, there were policies that spoke to me. Your expropriation of land, as I've explained it. A number of things, job creation. It makes sense. They put logic in how to create jobs. They're not saying, yeah, we must create 300,000 jobs, but there's no plan. They're saying we are going to create jobs. How? By capacitating government so that it has capacity to do this. Here's the logic. If you are government, you know that every day your people, your entities, your hospitals, your schools, they use a toilet paper. But you are outsourcing the service of getting toilet paper from a tender process. This person who's going to order somewhere this toilet paper, why don't we buy machines to do this toilet paper and have a factory where we then take people and put them into the factory to create, because it will never stop into toilet paper. Toilet paper is an everyday thing. Okay? This is EFF saying, this is what we must do. When we say state capacitation, when we say nationalization of these things, bank and then run, that's what we are saying. That why should I go and buy toilet paper that I can create with people and give them permanent jobs who are going to give them medical aid, pension fund, when instead of outsourcing to ATA, and ATA goes and gets 10 people that he's abusing to come and deliver the toilet paper. But who benefits? It's ATA only. These guys are getting 100 rands salary. And they can be fired anytime. They can't even express themselves. But EFF is saying, there's money in government. This corruption is showing you how much money. Nobody talks about we don't have budget for corruption. They are stealing it. But when it comes to business services, we don't have budget. But nobody will tell you that we don't have budget to corrupt. Nobody.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Eugene Mthethwa.